All right, welcome everybody. It's running behind schedule. Everything's fine. Welcome. We are here with a fun, unique stream tonight. Where we're not going to be playing any matches of Magic. We're going to be chatting about an upcoming deck, and also, if you're watching this on YouTube in the future, this will hopefully be a helpful, kind of walkthrough of an upcoming article, an article that's not been published as of the time of this video, but I'm writing a beginner's guide to Duel Commander article where I go in depth through like a lot of the processes involved with deck building and brewing and Duel Commander. So hopefully this can be kind of an example of going through that space in real time and help people in the future, whether or not they're brewing with this particular commander, or just kind of like going through the process of adding specific types of cards, doing searches, stuff like that. So hopefully this will be a helpful tool for the future, but I'm also just really excited to brew with Quintorius History Chaser. And I wanted to kind of just do a chill stream where we hang out, search through a bunch of the cards that I want to be playing. I'm going to make probably 2 iterations of this deck by the end, and we'll be ready to go in 2 weeks when the cards drop on Moto. But I've just been like seeing people talking about this deck in the Duel Commander Discords a lot, and I just wanted to give my own stab at it before the cards came out. So for those of you not aware, this is going to be our commander here. I should probably just blow up this window because we're going to be a lot of searching on Scryfall and stuff. But Quintorius History Chaser, 2 red, white. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 3/2 red and white spirit token. +1, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards, then mill a card, and -4 spirits you control gain double strike and vigilance until end of turn. And obviously, Quintorius History Chaser can be your commander. So it's primarily it's very similar to Ketramos in this like exiling cards out of your graveyard and accruing some sort of value. But instead of losing life and drawing cards, you are amassing a pretty substantial board state. You're also in different colors. Your commander's a little bit more expensive, but also harder to interact with. Ketramos does suffer a little bit sometimes from white removal spells. Quintorius is immune to a lot of that as a planeswalker, so it's definitely got my it's definitely piqued my interest. So I don't know what the best way to do this is. If there's some way that I can like leave him on screen, Kitty, not the time. I'll minimize this for now. Maybe we'll just. There's no way you guys can read that, right? There's just like no way if we put him in the command zone. I mean, I feel like most of the people will get the idea as they trickle in as to what this deck's kind of all about, right? So we'll leave him like that for now. Maybe he's legible, maybe he's not. As people trickle in, they can tell me. But, so going off of, again, I'm going to be referencing, I'll be talking about an article sometimes for those of you that are watching live. An article that does not exist to you guys, because I'm still working on getting it, finding a place to get it published. It is totally finished at this point. But it's an article talking about a guide to Duel Commander, and part of it is analyzing the different parts of deck building, which I've kind of broken out into commander synergy pieces, removal spells, good stuff cards, and obviously your mana base is kind of the main way to break it down. So we're going to be starting with synergy pieces because that's like the most cut and dry. This is just going to be like every Quintorius deck if this card shows up. Right, is all of the different Relic of Progenitus effects, ways to enable this first line of text. Is there an easy way to search that on Scryfall? I could just open up a Ketramos deck list and steal all of that. That's actually maybe the easiest way to do it, huh? Find a Ketramos deck and steal all the little trinkets that they play in them. Ketramos, are you a real deck? Do you exist? Ketra. Okay, I did. I just missed it. And I just pulled this off to the side. Well, these Scryfall and stuff windows will, I'm sure, move in and out off the screen. But obviously, I'm going to be pulling a bunch of cards and adding them here, etc., etc. So other spells we want. Ghost Vacuum. Ghost Vacuum, I love Ghost Vacuum. My favorite of the, like, 1-mana graveyard exile trinkets. Really wish that I could play it more in Legacy, but unfortunately the existence of Usul spells kind of made, like, fair graveyard hate basically unplayable. This card's so fun. I've definitely used it against Delver more than once. Phyrexian Furnace. I guess it's unfair to just call these just like Catcher Most cards, right? Because they are also what's the mono red Magda? Really? There are that many cards that have the word Phyrexian and Furnace in them? I'm a little shocked. I mean, I get that the the red Phyrexians are all about like furnaces and shit, but really? Why are these all like highlighted like they're unplayable in my deck? Contains cards not in my collection. This Ghost Vacuum's in my collection, isn't it? Whatever. Not my problem. I don't get why people tried so hard to make Heteros work in Legacy. I think it's because it like made some waves in Modern, but also I think it just kind of faded out of Modern too, didn't it? Although I guess part of that is probably um Riddler's fault, right? But it was like kind of making waves in Modern for a while, and the cards kind of seemed to make sense in Legacy too. I'd say like people tried to make it work in Duel Commander, and it kind of does. It's so solidly playable, but not like meta-defining deck. I definitely tried to make it work in Legacy. It was a very exciting card, cool to build around. I think, had a lot of potential. You could make a really killer potential man meme, with Ketramos. I think it would be devastating to the Ketramos players if people are familiar with the potential man memes, or maybe I'm just on like anime Twitter too much. Geez, there aren't actually that many of these, huh? Unlicensed hearse. There's that brief window in Modern where Beans was bad and Riddler wasn't printed yet. I don't know what that means. Yeah, there's like it's mostly like an anime meme. Potential man is like roasting people or like anime characters who like the fandom hypes up but like don't actually do anything. People call them potential man. Fushiguro from JJK is like the quintessential potential man character. If anyone watches Jujutsu Kaisen. Sorry, Megumi fans. The ooze is also a new trinket, which I think seems like pretty powerful. Very similar in shape to Unlicensed Hearse. Obviously, the 1-mana ones are going to be like way better than the 2-mana ones, but it is what it is. That's kind of it in terms of like the immediate consistently like playable, activatable Quintorius, Ketramos, Magda activators. So we kind of have to dig a little bit deeper in terms of activators, I think. What's the best way to search like 2-mana exile? What keywords am I looking for? Commander, red, white. Mana cost less than or equal to 2. Text exile card graveyard. You don't even need card really. You just kind of want to remove things from the graveyard. It doesn't even have to be exile, but I don't know how else you can phrase taking cards out of the graveyard. So we can start here at least. Hey, Blinky Mans, no spoilers. Oh, Agatha Soul Cauldron. Whoops. Was that not in the list I was just looking at? Or did I just miss it? I don't know why I typed out the full name. Was that not in this Ketchumos list? What the hell? They just aren't playing Agatha Soul Cauldron? It seems kind of whack. Get that shit in there. Remove the top card in your graveyard and prevent 1 damage to any creature. Is this card cracked? Card seems really good in Quintorius specifically, huh? They don't really play it in Ketchumos. But I think pay 1 mana, make a 3/2 is better than pay 1 mana, draw a card, lose 1 life, right? We'll add it to the list for now. This card seems like it can be like crazy burst damage. But we do have to keep in mind, one of my big tenets of dual commander deck building is like don't get like too in the weeds about playing cards that are only good when you have your commander online, but obviously there are some heavy asterisks with that. A card like Ketchumos or Magda or Quintorius is going to just have more build arounds because the effect is so powerful when you get it online. And a lot of the deck is going to be built around making sure that the card gets online. Is there no other way I could search for alms than just scroll all up? No, there's alms. I see it. I guess if I could have typed in some of the card text, huh? Let's get alms in here for now. Yes, Bag of Holding cards that there have been a couple of cards that have been brought up the past couple of weeks because I keep going on tangents about Quintorius, and people have brought up Bag of Holding and the other one, the good one. I can go to Moto filters, don't show versions separately. Wait, how do I turn off show foils? It looks like it's turned off. Oh, everything's gone. Why do I own 3 bags of holding? what happened? Oh god, what's the name of the one that people play? What's the name of the stupid? God, it's like a saga bullet sometimes. It makes like pirates or rogue tokens and treasures. I'm sure it'll be on this list, and also someone in chat will shout it out shortly. I think these cards all suck. If there are any cool disturbed cards, we could add them, but I don't think there are any. No. No. Currency converter, thank you, yeah. Wait, did that not show up on the list, or were we not at C yet? Oh, it's literally right there, nice. Yeah, I think at 2 mana we need to be better than also have to pay mana to activate. I think you want like the Agatha Soul Cauldron Ooze Unlicensed Hearse where it's free at 2 mana. But yeah, Currency Converter and Bag of Holding seem really good because they work off of the discarded card off Quintorius, so they kind of enable it in the exact same way that these other effects do, in that every time you plus Quintorius, you just make a 3/2 for free. And Currency Converter especially, you're making a 3/2 and getting a free treasure, or why is it like disappearing my card after I highlight it? I don't know. Oh, is it mad at me because I don't have a commander? So it's just like, hey, all these cards are illegal. Let's just get like a Quintorius in there. Just to put underneath. Because I think if I just put underneath, you guys can't see it anyway. Because I have this fake Quintorius hovering in the command zone. Oh, these two are both legal, I guess. Let's get him in there. This guy's the one that makes 3/2s anyway, yeah, right? Yeah, you guys can't read him, but yeah. All right, cool. What was I doing? Getting distracted. This is gonna be a lot of getting distracted stream. Just kind of like vibes, hanging out. Doesn't exile consistently. We're looking mostly for things that can be activated over and over again. This is a maybe. It's kind of loose that it only hits creatures. It only exiles your opponent's stuff. Dread Order needs like a lot of 1-drops to be relevant, so probably not. There's probably some escape cards that are really good in this deck. I think escape velocity. I think we're playing too many bad cards if we're putting in like escape velocity and shit. There's our good old Ghost Vacuum. Grim Lavamancer is probably playable. When I mentioned I was going to build like 2 different versions of this deck, I want to try building like a very creature light version and then like a good stuff playing a bunch of creatures. The creature light version intrigues me as a way to like gain virtual card advantage via having your opponent not having your opponent have a bunch of dead removal spells in your deck with like almost no creatures in it. It might just be worse than putting a bunch of like the really high quality creatures that exist in the format. So that's why I'm interested in trying both of them. But I think I'd only play Grim Mancer in the latter, in like the more mid rangey version. Is balance legal? Unfortunately, no. It was legal like a year or 2 ago, actually. What does this do? How does this get rid of cards in graveyard? I'm not reading this. This is 0 mana? It can't be. It's 0 mana from, like, alliances? It has to be unplayable, right? Someone tell me to go back to it. If it's really that good. Exile a land from your graveyard to animate this? Probably not. Jack-o'-lantern seems too bad. It does, like, activate itself twice, which is kind of nice. Because you can play it and sack it to cycle and exile card from your graveyard and make it 3/2, but it seems really expensive. You really want cards that can do things on the same turn you play your Quintorius to start protecting it. That's the big thing. The only one that we have that doesn't do that right now is Alms. Everything else like interacts immediately. God damn it. Well, hopefully, let's maybe get started with some of the other parts of deck building that don't require Scryfall. Of all the times, Scryfall, come on. I should really hit the complaint on Blue Sky button. We were in the middle of something. Alright, well, let's get some of the more boring stuff out of the way while we're doing this. Well, it's actually a flagellist right here. So the next step after adding like a bunch of the pieces that are supposed to go with your commander is probably just adding a bunch of high quality removal spells. I'm not familiar with like, I know a lot of the good white removal spells obviously because we play a shit ton of Cloud, but as far as red removal spells go, I'm not the most familiar with everything that goes on. I also I do like that Quintorius also is a built-in loot, so we can play some more like narrow cards, like these Red Elemental Blast type effects. If they're not good in a matchup, you can just like loot them away pretty easily. But I guess let's just get all the generic quality removal spells out of the way while we're waiting for Scryfall to come back to search for Quintorius cards. Yeah, probably Yoshimaru, Bruce, or like Crom, whatever, same deck. I will probably be pilfering a lot of the quality removal spells from those decks as well. Even like Aragorn, just like searching for the best cards in red and white. Because Aragorn is just like no synergy pieces, all just premium, super high quality cards across Jeskai. So any cards that they're playing that are obviously not blue. Oh, we'll just get a Flage while we're here. This card's obviously nuts. Flage, especially nuts because when you escape it, if you have Quintorius in play, you get 2 triggers because the exiling paying the cost of the escape is a trigger, and then the card escaping from the graveyard, the Flage itself being cast from the graveyard is a second trigger, so you actually get 2 3/2s whenever you escape a card. I'm worried about casting a 4-mana non-creature, but I haven't played much with this type of thing. I'm a little bit worried about it too. We might end up with like some of like the really high quality 2-mana rocks, But I do really want to style the deck in a way that's just like a bunch of removal spells to kind of just bring yourself into turn 4, just like a Boros control deck sort of deal. We'll get Pyrokinesis while we're here too. There's a decent chance that this card's not as good as I hope it is. But, I mean, Planeswalkers do have a pretty good track record in this format, too. Like, cheap Planeswalkers have a pretty good track record of, like, or not even just Planeswalkers, but cards that are hard to interact with. I keep mousing over this fake Quintorius, which I guess you guys can't see. Let me screw him slightly more off screen. But I guess my mouse does gesture towards the Quintorius that I've put there. But yeah, I'm definitely intrigued enough to try it out. I'm not like, oh, we've broken it. He's so good. 2 weeks before we're actually allowed to play with the card. Chain Lightning, Flame Slash. These cards make sense. Chain Lightning. Fourth Aerlingus. Yeah, I was trying to like hit removal spells specifically, but we'll get to like good cards too. Like just Boros auto includes. Flage kind of counts. He was also Flage just showed up when I searched Fury, but he also kind of qualifies as a removal spell, so it works. Detective's Phoenix is a really good one, yeah. I think even in a low creature count list, I think you would just play Detective's Phoenix because you can't escape with no spirits, but if you have any other activator, then it just makes 2/3/2s and then like makes one of your 3/2s a 5/4 flying haste creature. So it just like makes 6 power, makes 8 power. Oh, lightning bolt is here. Whoops. Flame slash. I think most of the rest of the escape cards, and Phoenix isn't technically an escape card, but it basically is. What the hell is this? Oh, that's weird. It's showing the adventure spell as the main card. This card's like 1,000,000 mana. I'm just gonna ignore it. I really like the idea of hosing graveyard decks. Yeah, it seems like your matchup against something like Lumra would be pretty good when you just have like a giant pile of main decked graveyard hate, or just like the reanimator decks and stuff. Well, there's Fourth Aerlingus while we're here. We'll probably end up being an Enlightened Tutor deck as well. Galvanic Discharge, Ghost Fire Slice makes sense. Discharge. Erode is a hell of a card. I think in general, yes, but I think in Dual Commander, not really. It's like it is a mostly upgrade to Path to Exile. But Path to Exile is not very good in Dual Commander specifically. Because giving them the land is actually like a huge downside in this format because there's just so many mana sinks and stuff. Maybe if Quintorius is good enough, then like erode just becomes kind of a necessity. But like if you erode a Quintorius, they just like untap and then play another land and then recast the Quintorius. It's not great for you. Kutzil Flanker. I don't even know if I'd play Kutzil Flanker in the good stuff deck. Is Lightning Helix like a playable Magic card? I feel like it's not that good in Dual Commander, right? Let's get a Mana Tithe and an Oust and stuff in here. I feel like at 2 mana, I'd want my removal to be more universally applicable. Like, if you're really struggling against aggro decks, then maybe you want Lightning Helix, but I don't think this deck should struggle against aggro decks. I think, depending on how you build this, but, like, the hard control version, I think, would struggle against control, especially, and, like, maybe struggle against combo. He says as he puts Mana Tithe in the deck. Listen, Mana Tithe protects your Quintorius sometimes. I think it's kind of important to, like, have your counter spells you can get. Let's get our Pyroblast and Elemental Blast in here. I think these cards are just, like, pretty cracked, and you can run them for free because they're really good in the blue matchups, and in the non-blue matchups, your Quintorius is much more likely to resolve, and you can loot them away. Makes me think that these cards are just really good. You just really want to run them. Scryfall back yet? God damn it. Reprieve, yeah. Reprieve's right here too. I think maybe Reprieve gets cut in like the more creature dense version, but the version that I'm envisioning that I'm more curious in trying is definitely like the Boros control, because it's really not an archetype that gets to be control as often. Unwanted remake? Destroy target creatures, controller manifest dread. No thanks. Chained to the Rocks makes sense. On Thin Ice probably makes sense. I think most 2-color decks can support Chained to the Rocks pretty well. You get like 5 fetch lands, or how many fetch lands do you get in 2-color? 5 plus, like, you get like 7 or something? I don't know. The answer is probably enough, but we'll maybe try to make a mental note of making sure that we have a respectable number of sources. We're not. Please read the CMC of Yokel Hops and get back to me on that one. I don't think I'm playing like the 5,000 mana land destruction card. I don't think those cards are particularly playable in 2026 Duel Commander. I think you might run Armageddon and Ravages of War in this deck, but that's about it. We're not playing Yokel Hops, guys. Parallax Waves, obviously, just cracked. Card costs like 8 billion mana. So I don't like Soul Guide that much because it can't. It only makes it 3/2 once, because you can't exile your own graveyard when you sack it. You don't get a Tormod script yourself even if you wanted to. So you'd only like you'd have to play it after Quintorius to just get one singular trigger, and that's it. Do you run those with Chain of the Rocks though? I mean, you have like 2 cards that are not good with your Armageddons. It's probably still fine. Especially when you get in them and it's like, okay, they get their creature back, but hopefully you have like, 4 3/2s in play or whatever. Obliterate? Please read the CMC of some of these cards to get back to me. I would be surprised if we put any card in this deck that is more than CMC 4. Besides, like, ones that have alternate casting costs. Like, maybe we play Ruination. Maybe we end up on Ruination, but I don't know. Awesome. Yeah. These are all good. We're in the removal spells phase of things right now, I think. Like, we'll get to the good stuff cards, but like I think there's probably a world where you just build this deck with a bunch of like the most quality, red and white creatures in it, and you play like Drannith Magistrate and Broadside Bombardiers and Pyrogoyf and all that bullshit, and Ocelot Pride and Guide of Souls and stuff. But we're trying to go one step at a time. And then also we're trying to like make an iteration of this deck where it's like hard control. But I think I want to start with just like a shell that like this is just the cards that go in every Quintorius deck, which I guess Reprieve's probably not quite that. But what was the Phoenix though? Detectives Phoenix. I think that'll go in like the synergy pile. We got Noust. We got Noust in there. Are there other like? Is there like good red white cards? I guess I could check other decks, huh? Like red white removal spells. I think in the control version I would play just like straight up Wrath of God and stuff. But like I said, I'm trying to start at like a baseline. Like this is what I think this is what I would want in like every Quintorius deck, like creature based or control based. Wildfires. We're not putting Wildfire in the deck. Also, I can't look up what Wildfire does, so you guys are just gonna. Oh, never mind. It's back. Let's do a brief aside for me to tell you why I'm not putting Wildfire in the deck. 6 mana. It's 6 mana. That's so much fucking mana, chat. You don't put. This is not a 6 mana spell format anymore. You can discard it if it's bad. We're not doing the forcible defense on every one of these cards. Just pitch it when it's bad. I think in a creature version you'd probably play like Cloud, Formal Wear, Sash, Stoneforge stuff too. Okay. Let's. Oh, Swift Reconfiguration is a good shout though. Good call. Good call. But let's shift gears back towards like the synergy cards because now the Scryfall's back online. Let's shift gears. Let's get out of the wildfire headspace. Say with me, pitches to Quintorius. Oh god. Shift gears. We're going back to looking at like the. Did I get Phyrexian? Yeah, we got Phyrexian Furnace. We're good. We're not playing Jotun Grunt. I think that card is too bad. Purify the Grave's a card where Pyroblast, Red Blast in the deck list. They're right there. I think Purify the Grave is on the border for me. This card might be too bad. But it does offer the potential for you to like play Quintorius and then surprise make 3/3/2s on an end step for 2 mana and then untap and then like you could like double strike them and potentially 18 damage swing does seem kind of nuts to me. The fact that it's not face up is very interesting to me. I think I would put this in a starting list. I wouldn't be surprised to see it not make the cut, but I think I would be remiss not to try it out in the starting lists. Are we building chaser type? Well, yes, exactly. Which magic cards are the biggest chasers? It's probably worth trying. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, it's gonna go in the Squee. We haven't gotten to Squee yet, but like, I'm gonna put Squee in the deck because he's fucking cool as hell. It's base that you get to like potentially do that, and Squee's almost certainly getting cut, but he fucking rules, so you can't stop me. You gotta have like a couple of those cards. I guess maybe I'm a little bit hypocritical for poo-pooing everyone's wildfire idea and then doing that, but Anger was a card that was on like my maybe list. But I think Anger is kind of on the opposite side of the Purify the Grave, where it's like the if I'm looking for that like haste enabler to surprise burst damage, if like I really need that that corner turning versus combo decks and stuff, I might add it to the list. It might just be a, like no, but it's on my radar, rather than a yes, but it's on my radar to cut card. Does that make sense? But maybe we'll put Anger in the pile just like for now to just think about. He's not getting cut in my list. Squee for life. Hell yeah. See, that's how, like he just fucking rules. Like we could maybe play Thraben Charm because you do get exile your own graveyard. It's pretty. I like that it blows up Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace is a card that I'm like maybe a little bit too scared of. But like the deck just gets to like churn through its spells really fast too. Well, maybe not really fast, but like you just get to sit there and like plus your Quintorius and like cast removal spells where you're like searching for one of a handful of enchantment removal spells that we'll end up having. Bizarre not legal, right? Yeah, definitely very, very dead. Devastation? We're gonna have to exclamation point card some of these. What if we just play Underworld Breach, huh? Definitely not Banded Dual Commander. Is that really it? Wow, there's not a lot of actually good enablers, huh? What other keywords? There's like 7 mana card. Don't see Voice of Victory. Yeah, I mean Voice of Victory would be auto include in the creature version. I think in the creatureless version you don't want Hexing Sculpture / Voice of Victory. Let's search Flashback. That's a good show. Flashback cards. We're not casting 6 mana land destruction cards. I think it has to be in every version because of blue existing. It's possible that we just need to play. I just hate that they get so much worse when your opponent just is sitting on a bunch of removal spells. I guess Voice of Victory specifically demands double counterspell, but like Hexing Squelcher, meaning that you Hexing Squelcher or like Spider Punk, meaning that if you like just are in a creatureless list and then you try to like go for the play where you have your uncounterable thing and then you cast your Quintorius and they just have like removal spell, which they should have several of because you haven't laid out any creatures for them to kill, and then they can still counter your Quintorius. Is a bit unsubbed until 6+ mana land destruction cards are cast. Okay, stop. We need to get back on track, chat. We're losing the plot. I think Faithless Looting is good enough. Fourth Airling. Yeah, we kind of... Let's just add Fourth Airlingus while we're here. Airlingus. Did I spell that one right? I kind of like skipped that over because I was kind of ignoring the like good stuff cards in favor of cards that go in every shell. But Fourth Airlingus is a good stuff card that would go in both a control and a mid-range shell anyway. The adult cards, yeah. Wildfire is not reasonable. It's not 2016 Duel Commander anymore. That card costs so much fucking mana. We're not a ramp deck. We're just gonna like hit land drops and cast our six mana Armageddon. What was I saying? Faithless Looting. I think Faithless Looting is good enough, even without a ton of discard synergies. We will have some amount. And obviously you can like flash it back and get a Quintorius trigger or whatever. It's really good if you like flash it back with a Quintorius and you have like a Currency Converter or Bag of Holding out. But I think between like Currency Converter, Bag of Holding, Squee, like some escape cards, stuff like that, I think Faithless Loot is good enough, but like maybe it's not. Sudden Eruption? Yeah, I haven't got around to building the mana base. Mana base is probably just like at the very end of the process. Are any of these... Oh, we get to play like actual flashback, huh? We have... How many of these cards are flashbackable? Get these creatures out of here, I guess. No. It's not that... I mean, we're not done adding instants to sorceries. I'm sure we'll add more. Purify the Grave, I guess technically flashbackable, but this... The other problem is, how do I add... If I'm deck building on Moto, so I can't, like, add flashback to this deck. I can just get a fucking JPEG of it and put it off to the side, I guess. I think flashback does end up in a list. Maybe not in, like, the good stuff, like, mid-range list, but probably, almost certainly in the control list, right? Enlightened Tutor? Yeah, Enlightened Tutor is a really good shout. Enlightened Tutor. Being able to tutor, like, the activators, or a removal spell, or a parallax wave, or I'm sure some other bullshit that we're going to be doing. The Airbender counterspell thing, redirect lightning? Oh, the redirect effects. That's probably a good call. To, like, it also helps protect your Quintorius. Did I see a new Pithing Needle land? Yeah, a little bit too many safety valves for my taste, but it's cool design space, certainly. How am I adding flashback to this list, chat? Am I just getting a flashback JPEG and putting it in? What if we just put in a Snapcaster Mage, huh? And then we all just kind of shook hands and agreed that we understand that it's not a Snapcaster Mage, that it is the card flashback? How do we feel about that one? I like that solution. All right. Snapcaster Mage. It's like very glaringly obviously not a card that's illegal in our deck enough that I think it implies, well, it can't be mistaken for another card. I don't think we're a Lava Dart deck. You like 1 damage, make a 3/2, but you have to sack a land for it. That seems like a big downside, huh? Hey, there's our buddy Purify the Grave. Wow, not a lot of like actually good flashback cards in red white, huh? Sure, there are other... Escape? Yeah, we can search Escape. Delve. Is there a way I can search, like, or? Can I search, like, Escape or Oracle Delve or something? Or just do a bunch of big things? Dread of Darkness? Yeah. But I don't think we have enough 1-drops for that. Oracle Delve. Does it work? Shit. Oh, because I have mana value less than or equal to 2. I should take that one off, huh? I should maybe take that one off for flashback cards, too, huh? While we're here. Because they might have, like, cheap flashback costs, and you can, like, loot them. And then cast them from your graveyard for value. Oh, let's put the silences. I think Orum's chant is good, and I think silence is also good enough, right? Oh, this is probably that's probably like too specific for the. I should just build. Uh, hang on. Let's just make a copy of this list right now because I think that's a lot of the good cards. I think I want to just start building for the control version, and then we'll like switch to a mid range version too. Control version is more interesting deck design space for me. So let's build a control version, and then we'll have like the shell to just work off of when we get to the mid-range version. That'll have stuff like Ocelot Pride and like Cloud and Season Pyromancer and stuff. Thoughts on Crucible Worlds? That triggers Quintorius, huh? Moto, please. It's taking a while. All right. That could be cool. Crucible in a control shell specifically. Hitting your land drops is really nice. Like Crucible plus Saga plus Enlightened Tutor for both pieces is really nice as like a control plan because I think the weakest part of the Contori's control deck is going to be that you have a not very good blue control matchup because I think it can be hard to resolve Quintorius. So having some backup plans seems really good. Crucible into Wildfire. Chan wants to blow up lands so badly. I feel like Boros control struggles the card advantage. I mean, that's kind of what your commander's for, right? Like the plus is card advantage, being the trigger is also card advantage. The kind of the idea behind Boros control is just 1-for-1 removal spells, and then your commander is your card advantage engine. Which again is probably why your blue control matchup is maybe the worst, right? Oh no, what is this list? All my sorting is gone. Oh well, whatever. Let's get the Snapcaster back in. What was I saying? Orum's Chant? I think Orum's Chant and Silence makes sense. As anti-control cards and anti-combo cards. Is One Ring legal? No, very banned. Oh, I didn't put a squee in here yet. What am I doing? Squee. What am I doing? Silence. Not of the deafening variety, not of the stony variety. Squee. This is pyrokinesis. We got a solitude and a pyrokinesis in here somewhere. Yeah. Squee. Dubious Mon. I wonder if you play this in like the creature version. These might be too bad even in the creature version. Let's get the fucking Goblin Nabob in here. Fuck yeah. Oliphant. Do we want the? I haven't like. I'm not building up the mana base yet, but I guess maybe you want the land cyclers just to like pad the graveyard. Battle Screech seems pretty bad. These cards we all saw. Here, this is what chat fucking wants. Chat wants us to run Earth Rift. Chat wants us to blow up a land and then flash it back for 7 mana to blow up another land and make it 3/2. This is this is what chat wants us to run. Oliphant. Do we want Eagles too then? No, that card is bad. Fuck you guys. Eagles sucks to cast. Eagles seems pretty good to cast when you're like bored as a bunch of 3/2s, right? You'd like pump them up. Eagles is, notoriously the worst of the land cyclers, though, by like a good margin. Prismatic Strands. This is like maybe. I think this is kind of in the anger pile. Maybe we should make a list of these cards that I'm not going to add right now, but are good to think about. Or just like, this could be useful, but it's against decks where I think your matchup isn't that bad. Against like aggro decks, you'd really want a card like Prismatic Strands. Seven's Wreck, I think, makes the cut in the creature versions as well. I think this card makes sense when you have like a bunch of like quality 3-drops and stuff. But less so in a control deck where you're just like kind of getting back a land. Okay, that's like all the flashback cards. What were we doing? Escape. Gamble? Do we want gamble? I guess it kind of makes sense, huh? I think all these escape cards suck, is the thing. I think these are all bad. Ox and Flage are good. I don't know if Ox makes the cut. But, I mean, obviously, like, Flage is fucking nuts. But we got a Flage in there. Ox is, like, I guess a maybe. Do we want to gamble? Is this a gamble deck? I mean, you just, like, gamble for your engine piece early and then hoping and just, like, hope to get lucky. Or you gamble for, like, I don't know. Maybe? You'll get Detect Delve or Detective Delve too. What is Detective Phoenix's? Gamble for Flage is pretty good. Huh. So I don't like this card, I think, but I could see it maybe. I like that it kills Tassiger. Like we were talking about, if your removal's more expensive, I think it needs to be more universal, and this does like kill almost everything. Does it kill opposing uh Quintorius's? How much mana does Quintorius cost? I mean, I can't even read the Quintorius on my own screen because he's in like a tiny window over there. No, Quintorius goes 6 loyalty? That's kind of nuts. What's the Brothers War mechanic? Cast from graveyard? Unearth? You can check Unearth cards. Yeah, I'd be worried about your ability to cast this early, which is the most important portion of the game that you want to cast removal spells. I think your removal spell synergizing with Quintorius matters less. But let's get a fucking let's notepad this shit or something. Some like cards that I don't think are gonna make the cut in my first draft, but are like distinctly maybes. There's the Unearthed Dog, discard to draw. Is that playable in like the normal? I think that's not good in the control version, but like maybe you play that. I know they played it in Flage, but Flage was much more interested in like feeding their graveyard more aggressively. Flage decks generally had a more aggressive like looting theme than Quintorius would. Oh, you know what we should play? Not. Why do I have like 7 fucking cloud like what all these cloud deck lists? Anger, Magma. What was the other card we were talking about that was in this list? On this list of maybes. Was it Ox? Put an Archimedes for the Quint Mill. Does Grimalvamancer make the cut? I think Grimalvamancer only makes the cut in a creature version. I think it's like too easy to just kill in a version that's very light on creatures. Quint control V1. I liked Gamble, I think. I could see Gamble getting cut, but gambling for Flage does seem kind of nutty, huh? In the late game. Good Gamble in there. What's the escape that Phoenix is? It's not escape, it's collect evidence. Collect. Well, nope, I'm stupid. When it dies, you can exile and collect evidence 4 and then return to the battlefield. I think this is just bad. It's cool. Dog shit mechanic mostly. Yeah, unfortunately, huh? It is just the Modern Horizons card that made it really good. Jolted Awake. Again, like Jolted Awake does hit artifacts, right? So it's like not this quite the same. You can bring back like your like Scrabbling Claws. How many of these sack versus exile themselves? Two of them. You could like Jolted Awake your Phyrexian Furnace or your Scrabbling Claws specifically. That shit sucks. Yeah. Um, is there other like leave? What's the text on? We didn't put a Crucible in the deck. Crucible of Worlds, like play from graveyard or something. Play from graveyard maybe is what we're looking for. Brought back, isn't that just kind of fall into the same vein of like what are we bringing back? Just trying from graveyard, yeah, maybe. From graveyard is maybe too broad though. Commander, red white. From graveyard. Yeah, brought back makes more sense with like creatures and stuff, and we're doing the creature. Abstergo Entertainment. Exile itself, return up to one target historic card from your graveyard to your hand, then exile all graveyards. So you get two triggers out of it. That's not bad. I don't know how many colorless lands we'll end up playing. Abandoned Sarcophagus. No, it's all cycling specific. Advanced Reconstruction. At the beginning of your main phase, mill a card, then exile a card from your graveyard at random. You can maybe play the exiled card this turn. That's got too much text. Do we have Tithe? Soul Cauldron is already in the deck. We don't have Tithe yet. Tithe is like part of the mana base. I haven't gotten to the mana base yet. We'll put a Saga in there, obviously, but are there ways to go infinite with passive? Technically, you can like Basalt Monolith plus the the milling thing plus a card that shuffles itself back into the deck, like Sarah Avatar, and then like mill it infinitely and like mill an anger. But I think you have to put too many bad cards in your deck for that. How many cards am I looking at here, by the way? 710? This is maybe too vague, huh? Can we like omit creatures maybe? Colorless Tez? Oh, that makes sense. Because it's just another copy of your little trinkets. Tezzeret. Are there other cards you would play with Tez? You like maybe want an artifact land? You just play like one artifact land because it doesn't really have any deck synergy, but you very well might want to tutor up a land sometimes. I'm gonna try play or cast from graveyard. Try to narrow down from 710 hits. 87, much better. I'm not reading Bronze Tablet. None of you can make me read Bronze Tablet. You probably play the red one, Great Furnace. Doesn't I guess it depends on how heavy red versus heavyweight we are, yeah. I haven't really thought that far ahead. This says Planeswalker. What does this do? Damn. Planeswalker. Return a creature. Is this bad in the control version? Maybe playable in the creature version. Well, actually, the E-tutor wouldn't need you to find. I guess that makes sense. You don't E-tutor for it a lot, but you definitely could. It's not just Tezzeret that finds it. Magus the Moon? Magus the Moon's probably too good to not to play, huh? Even in a creature light version. Thoughts on Shenanigans? The card sounds familiar. I don't know. Let me finish scrolling through these 71 cards and look it up. Wow, these cards are really fucking bad. Holy, oh, this card's red white and from Strixhaven, I think. No, it looks terrible. Shenanigans. Second Sunrise Vomit. Dude, Eggs was based. I don't know what you're talking about. Shenanigans, it's return artifact, dredge 1. Oh, this card's cracked, huh? Like this card just fucking rules. It just turns Quintorius into make a 3/2 draw card, mill a card, right? Because you just discard it to the discard happens before the draw, right? Yeah, you just discard Shenanigans and you pick it back up and then draw an extra card and then make a 3/2. That's how this works, right? Isn't this card like nuts? The card seems really good, yeah. It's also just like really fucked up when you play against Cloud or like the random like mono blue artifact guy. Do a search for red and white dredge cards. I I think you're gonna be a little bit disappointed. I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be Shenanigans. Oh, sorry. I forgot Canal Dredger. Which I guess technically does have the effect we're looking for. It's just very expensive. Encore? Oh god, I don't know. Our Encore cards all cost like 1,000,000 mana because they're like supposed to bring back 3 copies of them. Eight mana, 6 mana, 6 mana, 4 mana, but bad. 9 mana, 6 mana. Yeah, these are not. These are not what we're looking for. All right, kitty, you're getting kicked off. Get out of here. How many cards do we have, by the way? 43. Yeah, we got plenty of room still. I guess we're in the control version. We just played like the Wrath of God and Day of Judgment and stuff, huh? We should just look up like planeswalkers, huh? So part of the deck that we haven't got to here, deck of judgment, Day of Judgment, Cataclysm in our planeswalker deck. Solid, solid. I think you play the Geddons before it. I don't think we'd be a Cataclysm deck. What was I saying? I do want some number of like alt win cons that aren't Quintorius for playing against control. And I think like good, hard to interact with value engine cards. Cheap ways to pressure control decks that aren't creatures, right? So just like I'm planeswalkers that I'm allowed to register. Is a Johnny too good not to play even in a creature like a Johnny in a red-white deck with a bunch of like red removal spells that can activate him? It is like it maybe is just too good not to play, huh? Likely, yes. Yeah. I mean, it's printed in Modern Horizons 3. I guess that's not a good indicator because I think we're going to cut. We're not going to play like Ocelot Pride and shit in there. But I think there's a pretty good chance that a Johnny Nicodle Pariah is too good not to play even. You don't have any red permanents either. I mean, we have a red permanent in the command zone, right? But also just like flipping it and making 2/1s every turn is really good in the control matchup, right? It's just like very cheap, 2 bodies early. Don't you have to play Ocelot Pride? It doubles the Quintorius Spirits of City's Blessing. I mean, I feel like that feels a little bit win more, no? I don't think that's like the deciding factor on whether or not Ocelot probably is too good. Johnny at least plays well into removal spells because it like generates the two bodies, right? It's kind of like the effect that I'm looking for. If my opponent has a hand of like lightning bolt, flame slash, swords to plowshare, solitude, fury, or whatever, the kind of intent behind the control deck is that you're blanking a lot of those cards. Liquid metal torque since we're on shenanigans. We haven't gotten to 2-mana rocks, but we probably want to play something. But is torque better than the ones that tap for? You really would like the ones that tap for a colored mana, so you can like double spell on turn 2. Let's look at planeswalkers first, but maybe think about liquid metal torque. It's really funny if you get it online. A Johnny Vengeant, huh? This card's maybe not 2026 playable, huh? It fucking rules, though. I love a Johnny Vengeant. These cards are all pretty terrible. There's so many... Jesus, how many Chandras are there? 7, 11, 15, 19... 21 Chandras. Jesus. Thank God that Comet's banned in this format. This card would low-key be like really fucked up. It like more so than usual in Quintorius, huh? Because like the -3 also triggers your Quintorius in addition to all the other modes being bullshit. Elspeth Stormslayer doubles your Quintorius, but it's also 5 man's probably a little bit above the threshold of what you would want. Nahiri the Harbinger. It's like Quintorius if Quintorius was really bad and also couldn't be your commander. Remember when Nahiri the Harbinger was like a playable modern card? There was like Jeskai Nahiri. Crazy. Gao will be insane. We got our ass kicked by... No, we actually beat that Gao, but it was a really close match last week, right? Against a Gao. I think Gao probably ends up in the mid-range version. Ooh, Wandering Emperor I think makes sense. Unholy Heat? Did we not put in an Unholy Heat in our deck? We didn't. Unholy Heat seems good. I'll try to be vigilant about how easy it is to get Delirium online, but definitely worth playing to start at least. Wandering Emperor seems good, right? Like removal spell, generate like has flash versus control decks. Value generator. I think Wandering Emperor makes sense. It checks a lot of boxes. Ivora? I don't know what this card does. Ugins. Alright, yeah, we're at the end, huh? Let's look up Ivora, I guess, now that we've searched through all the planeswalkers. Whenever you deal combat, whenever you discard... Oh, okay, this card seems a lot worse than Gao, I think. I think discarding is like a pretty light sub-theme of what we're doing. This card, like, slowly snowballing once we play our commander is less interesting to me. I think you'd end up, in the creature version, I think you'd end up playing, like, what's the cube one? The one that is coincidentally a spirit, so you can also give her double strike, too? The one that, like, attacks and exiles the top card of your library, but then every time you put a card into exile, it gets +1/+1 counter. That card seems really good in a more creature-oriented version of Quintorius. Why can't I remember that card's name? Layla, yeah, Laylia, yeah. Laylia seems really good. What other, like, value engine-y cards do we want? Also, can we play, like, tech cards? Like, we're at 48. I think we want to stop at about 60. Like, High Noon? We play just, like, really nice bullets that you can loot away with Quintorius when they're not very good, but just, like, really high-quality deck hoser type cards. Like, are we allowed to like play Torpor Orb or something? What is the Duel Commander meta? How good was like just like playing a fucking Torpor Orb? Like Wildfire? I hate you guys. I'm gonna time out anyone who the next person that brings up Wildfire is getting timed out. Karn the Great Creator? Not quite. maybe if we had sideboards. MG top 8. So how good would like a Torpor Orb be? Terrible, terrible, really good. Torpor doesn't turn off Lumra, right? Lumra is a dies trigger only. It has no ETB. Oh no! Oh no! This is an ETB. This isn't a dice trigger. Oh shit. Okay, Torpor turns off Lumra. That's kind of big. Really good against Felia. Yeah. Good against Toph. Probably okay against Slimefoot. They're like a creature deck that probably has a bunch of like, quality ETB stuff. Stops the Hidetsugu Brainstorm. Doesn't stop Raph and Mikey. Stops Asmo, I think. Stops Hey Bye. Hey Bye is it not a cast trigger, right? This is an ETB or something. Yeah, it's an ETB. Humility. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, maybe those types of cards. That's exactly the vein of card that I am thinking of. Yeah, of like these like really really powerful but a little bit niche. Is that card even legal? Yeah, I guess that is a good question. Maybe it's not. Commander ban list. Humility. Fully banned. Yeah, I guess that tracks. that makes sense, huh? But like obviously Flager like gets away with Torpor Orb, as opposed to partially banned. Yeah, because there's like what's a good example of a partially banned card? I can't, for some reason, literally every single commander is escaping me. Shorikai? Yeah, ban is commander only. Johnny Tamio, yeah, okay, thank you. For some reason, as soon as someone's like, name a banned commander, just like my mind would completely blank. Timeless Dragon? Card seems a little slow for the format. Wait, does Light Pause and ET? No, wait, hang on. No. Torpor's creatures enter the battlefield. Yeah. Okay, I'm not turning off like Light Pause or Tifa. Eternal Dragon. Yeah. I don't know if Torpor makes the cut, but it's definitely an intriguing card. I think High Noon is probably good enough. Especially like with the ability, like with enough instance, we can usually like double spell over a turn or whatever. Deploy a card, cast a card, and it's also it's obviously like really good versus the combo decks. And you loot it away. What are some? I guess the cards we're looking for are cards that are specifically good against control, and you can loot them away when you're not against control. I think are big ones because against control, you're more likely to be stuck with dead card in your hand because you're not resolving your commander, right? So you don't want to play too many like High Noon type cards, but I think this effect is good. Palantir? Maybe. At some point, we should also like look through the cards that were printed this set. Did I spell Palantir right? Look through the cards printed this set to see if there are any like synergy cards that I missed too. Impending Disaster. That sounds like it costs 900 mana and blows up a bunch of lands. This does mill you, which is kind of nice too. Although I think our CMC count will be kind of low. It costs 1R and blows up a bunch of lands. Does it now? Sounds too good to be true. Maybe we could play Palantir. It is kind of the type of effect that I am thinking of. It's a little slow though, right? Especially in a deck that's not pressing their life total very much. It's like you start getting your engine online like probably the third turn cycle or something. We will have a handful of like random big cards. Oh, we haven't added ramp, huh? All right, let's add. How do I search 2 mana rocks that are legal in my commander's colors? Add 2 mana pool. Is this gonna work? Artifact commander red. That's gonna be way too many cards. Kitty, get off. Or yeah, I think Arcane Signet's like the best one by far. Mana value equals 2. Is this gonna work? Fuck. I guess maybe add mana is what I'm looking for. Wait, no. Because it doesn't say add mana, it just says add, it just says add symbol. But then it says add 1 mana. But if it taps for like red or white, it won't say taps for red or white. Add the tap symbol. I'm not experienced enough in Scryfallese. Can someone give me the syntax for tap and a mana symbol? Wait, there's a syntax button right here. Fuck. Card text. Oh no. Is LED legal? Absolutely not. Tap. Control F tap. Oh, there we go. Wait, go back to advanced. Click on the plus symbol. Alright, hang on. Ooh, add symbol. Holy shit. Tap. Red. Wait, that was it? Is this gonna work? I should say add, huh? Add. This is giving me all the ones that tap for red, but not the ones that tap for white. If I had to add it being an artifact, yeah, I should add not creatures, huh? Type line. Artifact. I don't know how to do the ors, so we're gonna go one by one. I don't know how to do tap add for red or white. But this shouldn't be like too long of a list. And then we also have to do add any color, right? I think it's Talisman of Conviction and like maybe Boros Signet. Talisman of Conviction. I think you probably want just like the really good ones. I think you want like just like 2 or 3 of these. We'll just add Arcane Signet while we're here. Damn, that's a really fucked up looking Arcane Signet, but I guess I just got it in a 40k deck or something. In the deck you go. I guess I'll type out add 1 mana for the last one, and that should get me there. I don't like that Boros Signet doesn't double spell on turn 2. Because like the ideal curve is you go like turn 1 activator, turn 2 like Boros like Arcane Signet into like 1-drop to interact with the board, and then turn 3 your commander, stuff like that. So Boros Signet seems a little bit lower on my list. Check add white Felwar Stone. Wow, these cards suck even worse than the red ones. Add mana. Okay, there are only 45 cards. We can kind of breeze through these. Add 1 mana if any color land your opponent controls could produce. That seems better. There are a lot of red and white decks in Duel Commander. Are you going to build a James T. Kirk or a Jean-Luc Picard deck? If they're cool, then I probably would. Fellar Stone. I think that's good enough. It hurt me to type that even as a joke. I don't know. I think some of the University Beyond cards are really cool. I think this is about my limit. I don't think you'd want Boros Signet. Like, maybe it might end up being better than Fellow Stone, I'm not sure. And I think the other one, the Liquid Metal Torque, is probably a little bit too cute. Unless we had like maybe if we had like a couple other quality shatters in the deck somewhere. Maybe when we get to the Marvel set and we see some of the other Infinity Stones, the one, assuming that one taps for white and or red, maybe those will be playable. Back on track to the like. I talked about Torque. I think Torque is worth. I think you'd rather tap for colored mana than synergize with shenanigans, but I'm not positive. I'll put Torpor on like the maybe list. It's a card that's on my mind as like a really potent hate card sometimes, but it also obviously could be pretty fucking terrible. And like when the top two decks in the format are 2099 and Tassiger, maybe you're not really allowed to play Torpor Orb. Although like High Noon also pretty bad versus these decks, so kind of hard to say. Honestly, I think High Noon is worse than Torpor Orb against the field if we look at it like, because like, whoops, not on MTG last 2 months, just in general last 2 months. So both are bad. Both are bad. Torporb's really good. Torporb's better than High Noon. Torporb's really good. Torporb's better than High Noon, although they're both pretty strong. Torporb's probably a little bit better than High Noon here. Better than High Noon here. Better than High Noon here. Okay. High Noon's definitely better versus Tifa. Probably a little close versus Terra, because you do turn off the Terra ETB, but High Noon also prevents you from getting just like randomly reanimated in one turn. I imagine both of them are pretty decent versus Brigid. But I imagine Torporb's also really strong here. I'm kind of talking myself into Torpor being better than High Noon. Am I insane? How does this interact? Okay, it's honestly kind of horrifying. I think you'd rather have High Noon than Torpor against a Serac, because if you just like played Torpor and your opponent just casts a Serac like 3 or 4 times, you need to kill it or you're just gonna fucking die, right? Actually kind of scary. High Noon's better versus Raph and Mikey. I feel like Quinn gets run over by Tifa. I don't know. We just have like 9. We added like a billion 1-drop removal spells, right? I've never read this second paragraph on a Serac. I've never read it until just now. I like started clicking on it because my brain saw a Serac and I was like, "Oh, Torpor turns off the combo. Must be really good." And I was like, "Wait, isn't there another line of text on this card?" And I had to like drill down just so I could fucking see the card. It is kind of scary if you Torpor their Serac and they just cast it and you don't have a removal spell. It's just a 5/5 that attacks you and makes 2/2s. And then they have like all the cost producers in the deck, so they could probably like cast it like 3 or 4 times. Kind of fucking horrifying. I'm kind of in for the Torpor Orb. Maybe we'll play in bold, maybe we'll cut one, maybe we'll cut both, who knows. Maybe they'll be too bad. Torpor is kind of nice against Aragorn, at least. Where, like, if you can resolve your Torpor Orb, you're not going to get, like, completely buried by them playing Aragorn, at least. Also has, like, random nice synergy with your Flage. If you, like, randomly line up Torpor Orb into Flage, you can just get them. Pyrogoyf? I think Pyrogoyf ends up in the mid-range version and not the control version. Am I missing any cards? I think I just want some, like, anti-control cards, really? I think the rest of this deck kind of makes sense to me. Maybe, like, a Tezzeret / Saga Bullet that isn't just, like, an enabler. I don't even know what that would be. I think if you're just looking for, like, value, you just, like, would tutor Currency Converter with Tezzeret. And that's kind of good enough versus the control decks, right? You can, like, slowly make 2/2s and loot and stuff. Pithing Needle? Probably not. Like, nobody plays Pithing Needle in this format. Let's look at some red-white decks and see if we're, like, missing anything big. Do we have a Johnny Cat? We do have a Johnny Cat, indeed. Let's look at some red-white decks, see if we're missing anything, huh? Or, like, Aragorn. It's something that we talked about and then just, like, never did. Just, like, a random MTGO Aragorn list. Fable? Oh, March of the Lordly Light. I think Fable may be only creature version. Fable's, like, pretty high-quality card, though. Get Lost? I hate Get Lost with such a burning passion. If I never have to cast that card again for the rest of my life, it'll probably have been too soon. I think that card is fucking awful. We got an Ajani in here somewhere. We got a good old Nakatl Pariah. Lightning Helix in here too. Maybe I'm just wrong on my interpretation of this card. Maybe it is good enough. It doesn't strike me as good enough. I feel like I'd want a card. I guess it kills 2099 to instant speed, which is pretty good. But I feel like I'd really want my removal spell to kill Tasigur. I think Tasigur is a worse matchup than 2099 in theory. But Bone Crusher Giant. Eh. Thoughts on Jeweled Amulet? I think it's worse than the 2-mana rocks. I think one of the questions is, am I supposed to play the land accelerants? Gemstone Cavern, City of Traders, Crystal Vein? Let's look at Yoshimaru list. I think City of Traders is a yes. I agree. Temple of the False God. I think you'd want the accelerants more for the matchups where, like, casting your Quintorius on turn 3 is just, like, really broken, and not, like, casting your Quintorius for the 4th time against a control. Although maybe that's important, but I think you would primarily want, like, to just City of Traders out a Quintorius on turn 3 after playing some, like, little baubles against, you know, like, Cloud or like Slimefoot or something, and just kind of put them in the dirt that way. Interesting. This Yoshimaru deck plays Gamble? I feel like I haven't seen that very often. Could play Fiery Confluence? Probably not. Yeah, these Yoshimaru decks are just going to have a lot of creatures by kind of definition. Taiwakeen probably has a bunch of like weird niche cards that we're not going to really care about. Do we have Party Thrasher? No, we're playing, or we're like trying to build a creature list version, and then we'll get to like the mid-rangey version, which will probably have more of those cards. Seal of Fire, no. Yeah, it's just got like a bunch of like weird damage dealy cards. Can we play Cutter? Is this a Cutter deck? I feel like Cutter's so hard to support without like cantrips. Maybe you're a Cutter deck with like the mid-range version when you can tutor it up with like Cloud and Stoneforge, but just Cutter by itself. Definitely not a Cutter. I don't know about definitely. I think it's a really good like cheap value enabler versus a combo deck that you can try to sneak under counter spells and stuff, right? I don't think it's good enough, but I think it's more interesting than just like flat no. Here's Flage. Nobody plays poor Flage. Probably because the deck's really bad. This card's gotta be dog shit, right? This card's gotta be unplayable with I don't think we're cooking with this one. Oh, we want to play Disruptor Flute, probably. Control deck can't beat that card on turn 2. It's a 3-drop! How are we playing it on turn 2? City Traders? I mean, it sounded like you want me to put it in the deck, which, like... So, like I was saying, the thing about specifically really niche anti-control cards is that you are allowed to, like, you're the most likely to resolve your commander versus the non-control matchups. And then when this card is bad, when you're playing against like Yoshimaru or whatever, then you can loot this away more often because you're much more likely to be able to resolve your Quintorius. So I think the upside of like weird niche cards is highest when there are weird niche anti-control cards. So like I could see we could like try it at least. It's also just kind of funny. I am a sucker for novelty. Is Rip Apart too cute? I'm afraid of Disruptor Flute. I do think we want... How many Shatters and Disenchants and shit do we have? I'm like... Disruptor Flute's pretty scary. Rest of Peace is really scary. Luckily, Rest of Peace is like really hard for decks to actually play. What do we have? Like nothing? March. Authority of the Consoles. That's the type of like weird niche card that is like nice against aggro decks specifically. But I think is like if those matchups prove to be worse than I think they are, then maybe we could play an Authority of the Consoles. But I think the way that this deck's constructed, hopefully those matchups aren't very bad. This is really our only like really dedicated disenchant. We have Shatters for Disruptor Flute specifically, but whoa. I guess like Skyclave would be like the next one. But Skyclave in like a creature light deck is worse than just playing like Council's Judgment or something. Should play the Destroy Artifact and Redirect Modal spell. Oh yeah, we talked about those, and then we didn't end up adding either of them, but I think they kind of make sense. Redirect Lightning and Untimely Malfunction. I didn't look up Rip Apart. I kind of got distracted. Rip Apart. Destroy target artifact enchantment or deal 3 damage, huh? Exercise. It's like the same card, right? Except it just kills tiny things versus kills big things. And it exiles for however much or little that's worth. I think I'd rather play an exercise, honestly. Exercise a Tassiger. rather than deal 3 damage. What is the lore? Oh yeah, we didn't look at any of the new cards, huh? We should maybe look at new cards. Oh fuck, we didn't add a Vanguard of the Restless. This card just seems like really cracked, right? Even in a creature light version, this card is just like good, I think. It might be a little bit too expensive and like win more-y, but it's probably worth trying out initially, huh? Alright, chat, what bullshit card do we make up to add to this list to represent Vanguard of the Restless, because it doesn't exist on MTGO? Yeah, I might. Eternal Dragon? No, it has to be. I think it has to be a card that's not in our color, so it's like very clear that I need to replace this before I hit submit on the deck list. Let's look at the red cards here. Okay, yeah, no, the rest of these cards are pretty bad, huh? You could probably play a Staff of the Storyteller in a creature version, huh? It's kind of an okay card. The class spell could be good for control. I think it's too expensive. I think there are other cards at 4 mana that do something similar to. Is Staff of the Storyteller too cute? I think it is. Wait. Did I forget a card? Hang on. There's another one. Wasn't there a card that like literally is Quintorius? I remember I was like doing some like random Scryfall searches. Isn't there like a white enchantment or something? It's Arc of Hunger, which is like maybe cool. But that's not what I'm thinking of. On Wings of Gold, here it is. It's just Quintorius, right? Like this card seems really good. It's also just like really fucked up with Quintorius because it just makes all your guys 4/3 flyers and then also makes 2/2s as like a backup Quintorius. This card is just like nuts, right? It's 4 mana, so maybe nuts is a little extreme. But I think having a secondary Quintorius is good as like again like a nice control card. You think that card's bad, really? I think this card seems really good. It's a 4 mana do nothing? That's like calling Quintorius a 4 mana do nothing. Quint draws cards. Yeah, I mean you're not wrong. But I think in terms of like the value represented with the way that the deck is constructed, I think it's one of the better value generating high cost spells. I did kind of like Arc of Hunger. This card kind of seemed interesting too. It just like draw a card that triggers your Quintorius and also just like some random incidental chip and life gain. A little worse than draw a card, obviously, because you have to play the card that you draw, which is maybe not that good in a very reactive deck. You just like mill over a redirect lightning or an unholy heat or something. Arc also does things that be yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think on Wings of Gold's kind of cracked, kind of crazy. Maybe I'm super off base. I'll put it on the. Oh, I guess Torport's in our deck, huh? On Wings of Gold. and Arc of Hunger. Yeah, I think Advanced Reconstruction is like way too slow. Because it's like 4 mana, and this is an actual 4 mana do nothing. It is 4 mana, and then it does nothing until your next turn, in which case you get to like randomly play a card from your graveyard. And then obviously you can like slowly tick it up after that. But we're not even like casting that many spells from our graveyard. So like level 3 doesn't really do anything. I think if I'm playing a big stupid value thing that synergizes with a lot of our Quintorius cards, it's going to be Arc or On Wings of Gold. Anyway, what were we saying before that? Before I got sidetracked? We were talking about, we're looking at Strixhaven cards. We got Untimely Malfunction in there. Vanguard of the Restless. Are there any other Vanguards? Vanguard is unfortunately a very white card name. We'll see if there's anything not in my colors that I can put to represent Vanguard of the Restless. Wow, okay, a lot of Vanguards in other colors, huh? Any picks, any strong inclinations for our Vanguard of choice to represent Vanguard of the Restless? Specifically not a white or red Vanguard. Maybe this red bordered card, huh? The one that's illegal to register in my deck. I guess maybe a 3-drop is better, but this one is like very blatantly not allowed. But a 3-drop's probably a reasonable indicator too, huh? Hamlet. Let's get Hamlet Vanguard in there. It also kind of does things with spirits if you think about it. Oh no, it's humans. I thought it said non-human. It's non-token humans. Never mind. It's the exact opposite of Vanguard of the Restless, interacting with token spirits, but sure. Don't think too hard about it. Alright, where were we? Looking at Strixhaven cards that may or may not synergize. Can I sort by color? There we go. Bad. Bad, bad, bad. Bad. Oh, look at the value. Look at so much Quintorius value. Let's go down to the red cards. Bad. There's a red, red, white, white creature with first strike. Does it do anything else? You're not selling it very much. It's also a creature, so my interest is definitely lessened. Oh, here's what everyone in chat wants. Everyone in chat wants to blow up some more land. Where's fucking allegories? Where's everyone else that was fucking saying all this shit? Strategist. I don't actually know if you were the one that was talking about 7-drops. I've lost the plot. It was actually a really long time ago. I shouldn't be bringing it back up. I want mass land destruction. Maelstrom Artisan is low-key a Deadpool card. Maelstrom Artisan. Kind of makes sense, yeah. You get to blow up another land after you use your arts in the first time. Let's see it. These cards all seem to suck. And then scroll down to Boros cards somewhere. Arc of Hunger. Bad, 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 bad. This card's like kind of cool, but like a... eh. Lorehold Charm. Sacrifice an artifact. Return target artifact. Or overrun. Eh. Maybe in a creature version, right? Maybe this card gets better in a creature version. You can return your artifacts. You can return your like Scrabbling Claws and shit, but... Practiced Scrollsmith. Nice, right here. No, I don't think the card's very good. Exile target non-land permanent and top card of your library. For each of those cards, its owner may play until the end of their next turn. I think this card's bad. It's very weird. It's kind of like unsummon draw card. Kind of like a repulse in a way. Kind of nice targeting commanders because it does like force your opponent to recast it, but a lot of commanders get value if you recast them. If you like target like an early Tasker with it, and they can't recast it, then they have to put it back in the command zone, and then I guess then it's just removal spell draw card, which at 3 mana isn't even like that exciting. Especially because like exiling your top card and playing it on the next turn isn't exactly drawing a card either. Any sort of activators? No. We're at 59 cards. We're pretty much there. Maybe we just like play like one other card. I think we probably started like 40 lands, right? Maybe even like 41 if we're playing some like land cyclers. Maybe we play like 39 plus Tithe and Oliphant or something. Kind of makes sense to me, honestly. Maybe we just stop here. Put Geddons on the... We never actually got around to adding Geddons. I don't know if the Geddons are actually good or necessary, but I think Geddons are definitely a possibility. Oh, now for my favorite part, which is building this mana base, huh? I should have built the mana base first, so I could just port it into the other iteration of Quintorius. I'm just gonna just copy this Quintorius list and cut all the control cards once we build a mana base. Let's just steal. It also it looks. Let's check here. This is a red card. This is a white card. Let's see how split we are on red cards and white cards here. Don't forget Corey's Mountain Monastery. I probably won't. I imagine that other people are probably playing whatever that card is. I mean, technically you are a red card and you're a white card, but not really. Yeah, we don't have any double red. Besides, like, Flage. Squee, you don't count. Squee, you fortunately or unfortunately do not actually qualify as a red card. If I'm ever casting you, something has gone very, very wrong. It is a pretty solid split. Oh, I don't know why Flage is in here. Whoops. A pretty solid split of red and white. So I think you lean slightly white because we do have like some double white pips at like the 4 mana cards. Squeeze a good blocker. All right. I don't know about good, but he is a blocker. I foresee casting him a non-zero number of times. Let us steal a Flage mana base, shall we? Arid. Well, let's get an Oliphant in here. Oliphant and not Tithe. Is it Tithe? Fuck. Is it not? How the fuck do you spell Oliphant? God damn it, Tolkien. Flage has got to be playing an Oliphant, right? Yeah, Oliphant. Oh, there's a U, of course. My bad. Not Oliphant. Oliphant. Couldn't just be elephants, huh? What was it? Tithe? Tithe? I think it's Tithe. Wait, what the fuck? I've never seen this art in my life. This art's so sick. Oh, it's gone forever. Tithe. Arid Mesa. It's time for Chad to play the wonderful game of Name the Really Bad Boros land that no one has ever played in any constructed format. Where Chad gets to yell out the names of a bunch of lands that tap for Boros colors that I've never heard of in my entire life. Boros Garrison? Is that one playable? I mean, I guess picking up a land does vaguely synergize with, you know, your ability to loot, but my instinct is that you don't really want tap lands. Wooded Foothills comes in untapped turn 9. The commander slow land. Now you're cooking. Prismatic Vista. Sunbaked Canyon. There you go. Yeah, down the Bugbear. All right. Yeah. Now we're getting good ideas. Marsh Flats. I guess this will also be the time to check to do an On Thin Ice and Chained to the Rocks check. I have to imagine we have enough though. Flooded Strand. Windswept Heath. Sunbillow Verge. Arena of Glory is a good one. Yeah, can't forget about that. Even in a very creature light list, Arena of Glory just seems like a slam dunk. It's like very low opportunity cost, and also we're a Flage deck. Plateau. Just adding the obvious ones while chat cooks up the less obvious ones. Castle Arden. Castle Ardenvale makes a lot of sense, yeah. Because it's like a nice, like, hold up all your mana. Generate a little bit of value versus control deck sort of thing. Clifftop Retreat. I'm not reading. I'm just going to steal a dual commander list. I have a dual commander list open. Yeah, I'm going to steal one at some point. But it's much more fun when Chet gets to shout them out, huh? These are also mountains and plains. I'm going to set these other utility lands off to the side. Oh, Elegant Parlor, yeah. That one is obviously busted. We're also gonna. I think Mistvale Plains is really good, right? Maybe not really good, but I think Mistvale Plains is good enough, and fairly low opportunity cost to play. It's fucking crazy, really interesting. I mean, it makes sense. It's just like very free to put in the mana base. I need to start getting some of these in the list before they start fading off of my chat screen. It's a fetchable way to like start activating your Quintorius, which seems very like good and consistent. Sunbillow Verge. Anyone name the DFC, the Boros DFC that I assume that cycle is complete? I cannot name a single one of those stupid DFC lands. Yeah, any of the pathways. Could not name a single one. Gun to my head, would be completely fucking dead. Mistvale Plains. Got a bad one. Hall of Heliod's Generosity? How many enchantments do we have? That does technically trigger Quintorius. Hall of the Bandit Lord, yeah, maybe not so much, huh? Abstergo Entertainment. Yeah, I think that one probably... Prayer... Oh, fuck, how do you spell prairie? Prairie. There we go. I don't know if wait, is there like a card named Hall that you were just actually naming Hall? Like one of the fucking clue cards? The clue card should be on MTGO, right? Because Headliner Scarlet is one. Flagstones? I think Flagstones maybe only makes it if we end up on the Geddons, right? Otherwise, I think it's probably a Dust Bowl deck, huh? We said City of Traders was good. I don't know if Crystal Vein is also good. It might still be. So I just made up a good card, an actual potentially playable card, just because you meme suggested a bad card. Your mentioning of Hall just like triggered some like brain function in the back of my mind that remember the Hall of Helios Generosity existed. This probably is not a Naganjo Castle deck, but it is certainly a Naganjo Seat of the Empire deck. Sokenzen is good. So wait, wait, does Sokenzen make spirits? Can we double strike our 1/1s? Wow, fucking Combo City, let's go. Cracked. We channel the fucking Sokenzen and then we bring back our Vanguard of the whatever for a low price of 7 mana. You make 2/2/2 hastes. Witch Enchanter? Yeah, Witch Enchanter. And maybe some of the red MDFCs. So this is a Quintorius spirit build now. We finally put in the... I guess the first spirit was the Vanguard. We finally put in the second card that makes a spirit. Mentioned the red-white above. Legion of Leadership. That one's a tap land, though. I don't think we need tap land. Unless the front side actually does anything. Legion of Leadership. Which I assume it doesn't do anything, or else I would know what the card does. Did we already get Needle Verge Pathway? Someone got Needle Verge Pathway. I'm gonna turn double targets. No, this card seems pretty bad, unfortunately. Needle Verge. No, I asked if chat could name the red white the red white pathway, and literally no one did. Needle Verge Pathway and Pillar Verge Pathway. I don't want this for. Wait, no. Give me. Wait, is this the front side? Why do neither of these look like the front side of the card? I don't understand. Whatever. Oh, Command Tower? Duh. I'm so monocolor brained. I just didn't add Command Tower. Why do I have 7 Command Tower? Oh, because I opened up a bunch of these EDH decks. Wait, this one's kind of sick, though. Hold on. How many other Command Towers do I have? They're all the fucking same. Where's the sick-looking one? Nope. What the fuck happened? Where'd it go? Oh, this one. There we go. We did it. Bang. Why are you guys moving closer to my piles? I don't like that. Inspiring Vantage. Good. If I forgot the card that you named already in chat, please say it again. Fomori Vault? You guys are make me... If your card is not good, please do exclamation point card. Because I don't think Fomori Vault is good. I have to read this one, though. Fomori, fuck. It's Fomori, right? Spike Field Hazard? I don't think you want 1 damage / tap land. Shadow Skull, maybe. Battlefield Forger. Yeah, that's just like a regular one. Discard a card. X is the number of artifacts you control. 3 mana. That seems not very good. And it's a colorless land. Wait, how did the door get closed? What happened? My office door is closed. Ah, keep hitting my mic. Battlefield Forge, get in there. Dust I think Dust Bowl makes sense because we're also a Crucible Worlds deck. And also, I think if you get the Crucible Worlds, then Dust Bowl's another way on top of Saga to like kind of pressure in its own way the control decks. Also, Dust Bowl's just based. Some number of Snow Cover basics. Yeah, I guess we probably want to add those at some point, huh? Sundering Eruption. I think this card makes sense, mostly because it has, like, is the Falter effect. Right? You can, like, Alpha Strike them randomly. I think this card makes sense as just, like, a random, like, kill your opponent out of nowhere, like, ult your Quintorius, Sundering Eruption them, and then just attack them for lethal. And also, yeah, blowing up some tech lands is always nice. You're against, like, a Glacial Chasm or whatever. How you guard exclamation point card and then type the card name. What's the red version? What's the red Avatar land? Does it suck? I assume it sucks because nobody plays it. What have we missed here? Ash Barrens? I don't think we need to fuel our lands that bad. Flagstones of Trocare? Maybe. Flagstones plus Dust Bowl is good enough. Well, there are not a lot of tech lands. I guess Flage does not really lend itself to playing a lot of tech lands because the mana, the card itself is so restrictive in casting. So maybe something like Tywakeen makes more sense. It's awful. Air Temple's probably good enough. Air Temple's maybe good enough. I guess, like, randomly buffing your board of 3/2s could be nice. Starting Town? I don't think our mana requirements are that bad. Also, notably, does not come in untapped on the Quintorius turn of the game, which could be devastating. There's Abstergo. Alright, you tried really hard, Mythic Common, so we're just gonna search your card. I appreciate the effort. Field of Dreams, I think. No, not Field of Dreams. Field of Souls? Is this a real card? Is this a real card that exists? We got the ooze in here, don't you worry, diluted fruitcake. I don't know what card you're trying to tell me. Mazavith? I guess technically a land. Probably not good enough. Could randomly be okay at, like, keeping a Tassiger from, like, murdering you over and over again. Let's scoot all these cards over. Monument to Endurance is the standard card. It's there, makes spirits. Oh, is it? Field of... Oh, it's right there. Oh, 4 mana. Remember a non-token? No, wait. No, this card isn't what we're looking for. Card's not good. Put into the graveyard from the battlefield. Oh, I guess when you kill your opponent's stuff? I mean, no, the card's, like, not really... I don't think what this deck's about. Very, like, slow value card. You guys scoot over? No? Cool. I wanted to set aside colorless cards because you don't want too many. Enough. Oh, I see. You make spirits because they synergize with Taurus and stuff. I think you don't want to lean into that synergy very much. We'll look into that a little bit more with the mid range version with like creatures and stuff. But especially like making 1/1s, like the double strike is not super exciting. I was mostly joking about the Silkensun being like a sick combo. It's just kind of a nice happenstance. It's also good against 2099. Yeah, it's not bad. What was that card you named like 4 times? And I was like, I'll probably add it, and then I never added it. The one land. Hang on, I'm scrolling back up in chat to find it. Corey Steel Monastery. What the fuck is this card? Is there a hyphen in Corey Steel? I hope not. Corey Mountain Monastery? Fuck. Well, there's Corey Steel Cutter. Now we have to add it, right? Mountain. Enters tap unless you control planes or an island. Exile top card library until the next turn. Yeah, seems fine. It's a good, like, hold up all your mana versus control and use it to, like, draw cards and stuff. Makes sense to me. Snow-covered plains. Let's just get plains and mountains in here right now. We're looking, honestly, like, kind of low on Chain to the Rocks and On Thin Ice casters. Huh? Mountain. Skullclamp legal? Yeah, Skullclamp probably ends up in the mid-range version, but this iteration of the deck has, like, pretty low number of activators. We're certainly building an expensive mana base to just blow it up with a bunch of 6 CFC spells. I hate you. So there's 21 cards that can activate your On Thin Ice and your Chain to the Rocks. What's the math on that? Frank Karsten? You want to do me the solid? Frank Karsten mana base. How many sources do you need to consistently cast your spells? A 2022 update. Simian Spirit Guide is a spirit and temper. Oh, fuck. Simian Spirit Guide is good, huh? Now we have to start looking at cutting cards? Fuck me. Simian Spirit Guide actually, like, seems really good. Because you can power out your Quintorius out of schedule. Like City of Traders. And then also you can cast it and then it gets double strike. Oh! Hostile Desert? I think Hostile Desert is probably a little bit too cute, huh? Alright. 99 card deck, casting your colorless card. Wait, really? Only 19? Huh. You're actually playing Phoenix? I think so. Phoenix maybe doesn't make the cut in the creature light versions, but I think it's just like so much burst damage with the first along with the first activator. It's obviously way better in the creature versions. But you only need 19 sources to consistently cast your colorless card on turn 1 in a 99 card deck? Why does it seem so low to me? You have no creatures to bestowed onto, but like all of these are also creatures, right? The Tezzeret and the Hearse and the Ooze and the Soul Caller and the Claws and the Ghost Vacuum and the Currency Converter and the Bag of Holding, and all of these are creatures. You just make one Quintorius trigger, and then for 1 mana you get 2 more Quintorius triggers and haste your first Quintorius trigger. It's just like a lot of upside. Yeah, it's obviously bad if you're not resolving your Quintorius, but I think the upside is well worth it. It's not like what you're not super excited to draw your Detective's Phoenix if you're not resolving Quintorius versus control, but there are a bunch of cards in the deck that are already like that, right? Your draw when you draw Squee Goblin Nabob, you're also not excited. If you play against a control deck and never resolve your Quintorius or your Shenanigans or your Vanguard of the Restless or whatever the fuck it's called, or your Alms. It's just a matter of if we think that the power level is good enough. Low-key Cathar Commando is good enough as a control deck to be in here, I think. It has Flash. I don't love it in the Creature Light version. Just because it's just a do-nothing creature. We did talk about how we were kind of low on natural, on like disenchants. I need to finish the mana base thought first, and also we already need to cut a card. But in terms of On Thin Ice, we have so like technically the mountains and the Oliphant aren't quite On Thin Ice cards, but presuming that we have one of these that searches for the base of the snow covered mountain And then also literally any white source, you can get your Anthonice online on like turn 2 or whatever. And also 17 is still pretty close. Well, I guess no, it would be -4. It would be 13 ways to like literally cast Anthonice on turn 1, which is not great. It's like a 77% chance to cast your Anthonice on turn 1. Oh no, there's a plateau in here. It's like 75% chance or something, but like the odds go up real like a lot on turn 2, yeah. Oh yeah, Tithe does let you cast on turn 2, you're right. Because it gets the planes. If you like cast a turn 1 off a plateau or whatever, you can grab your basic planes. I think the odds are good enough, but I would say that on thin ice is maybe on thin ice, I guess. I guess Chain to the Rocks is maybe similar numbers. Because you gain Elegant Parlor, Sacred Foundry, Plateau, but you lose all these planes. I don't know. Kind of just vibes mathing it. How many lands is this? Is it too many lands? No, because we have the Tithe and the Oliphant in here, right? We decided 39 plus Tithe Oliphant was like pretty good at 41. All right, we need to cut a card, huh? Because I think the Simian Spirit Guide's really good. Who's getting the axe? Simian Spirit Guide is a land. Maybe it's the Snapcaster. Seems a little hard to cast. Let's check. Wait, is flashback good? Let's actually do the math on flashback, huh? Well, now that we're here, how many cards does flashback actually work with? Chain Lightning, Flame Slash, Discharge, Bolts, Rebs, Slice. Wait, how does this work? Okay, this does work. This works well with flashback. Okay, because the cost is reduced. This works badly with flashback, so it doesn't really count. This, I mean, technically, if you really need another shatter. 21's a pretty good number. It technically works with Faithless Looting, yes. Oh, there's 4th Aerolingus too. This one actually works. 22 is like not bad numbers on flashback. It's flashback. I feel like is one of those cards that I just want to try because it's new and novel. It has like inherent deck synergy. We could even count like Sundering Eruption, kind of. I don't see a lot of reasons you'd actually want to flash it back. Tithe if you're down bad. Yeah, I mean Tithe if you just want to hit more land drops. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I think flashback is one of those cards that that is new and does things in your deck that are inherently pretty good. That like we'd want to try it out at least. Although I guess like everything's kind of new and we want to try it out in terms of this how this deck is structured, huh? Maybe we'll cut either the Torp Orb or the High Noon, huh? And just like think about them now that we need one slot. Chat, how are we feeling about Torp Orb or High Noon? Which one gets the axe? There will certainly be a number of these cards that probably don't end up making the cut. Like the Vanguard might be bad, the Flashback might be bad, plenty of these other cards might be bad too. High Noon sucks. All right, we'll get High Noon out here. I'm gonna put High Noon on the maybe list though. I think this mana base is pretty solid. We got to 41 pretty easily. I completely eyeballed the number of basics that I wanted in this deck. No Shot the Vanguard is bad. It's just like really expensive, right? Like 3 mana is a lot to bring it back. It's like only good if you have your Quintorius online, right? Because you need spirits to be bringing it back. So it's not that exciting versus control. It's really expensive versus aggro. It's a little bit scary of like it's only good when your engines are operating at peak efficiency. Or Tez. Tez is like I think Tez is just a graveyard hate tutor, but it just like the deck operates best when you have one of your activators in play, right? So it's the same as like Tezzeret is just an amulet in Lumra or something. It's just an amulet slash the orb Zurin orb in Lumra. Yeah, but that's the only thing the deck wants, right? The deck, the number one thing that we want in our hand is, currency converter and Phyrexian Furnace and stuff. I think I'm happy to register this on day one in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, the stream we will I think just play this list, and then it's possible the mana base needs to be ironed out. It's possible we missed a card or two in the mana base. Who could say? But I think we came up with a lot of good ideas, and we probably got all the good Boros lands. Like I think in terms of cards that I think are most likely to end up on the cutting room floor, it's probably like these redirects. This is kind of an expensive redirect. These cards. It seems odd to me not have a 0 to get with Tez like Crypt, but I don't know anything about the format. I mean, there's not a lot of matchups where you'd want like 3 mana Tez and you like really need your graveyard your anti-graveyard card online immediately, right? Like you're playing this like actual reanimator and you didn't draw any of your things to play on turns 1 or 2, and you just need your graveyard hit on turn 3. It's possible we want some sort of other effect outside of just a bunch of these cards, but I don't know. We aren't trying to hit silver bullet. It's just about consistency, though. We have this pile, but we want like to always have it online for Quintorius. Basically, what's the white 1-drop enchantment? Alms. It's just it's I think my least favorite Quintorius activator, but it seems really efficient at what it does. Just make a bunch of things. Also, just like makes it so it's almost impossible to attack your Quintorius. Ick. Yeah, it's kind of a responsible reaction to that card, honestly. I feel about I feel approximately as strongly as for it as I do about like Purify the Grave. I think I'd more likely to like Alms than I am Purify the Grave, but they're both kind of that vein of like these cards are pretty powerful and fulfill niches that the deck doesn't have access to, because none of these allow like a huge burst of power. They're all just like consistent put out 3/2s. You can like sack them to make a second 3/2, sack some of them to make a second 3/2. But just like Alms and Purify the Grave are just like sudden board state out of nowhere cards. But yeah, they don't have they have a much higher opportunity cost because they don't like cycle. They have a much like lower baseline. But we definitely want to try out some number of those cards. But yeah, I really like this. Let's cook up the mid range list, huh? The one that's like less reliant on Quintorius and it's just like Boros good stuff with like Quintorius top end and has like the activators, but not a bunch of like cute cards, huh? I think this is a pretty solid day one Quintorius list, and we have a list of like other cards to think about trying. At least we can copy the mana base. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to just make a version of the list that was just all the good cards. I should just copy the whole list and then cut the bad cards instead, or cut the control cards. Now we play in my opinion, the more boring way to build this deck, but it's quite possibly could be better because I think the control list will probably struggle against like blue decks, and blue decks are a pretty core part of the format, especially right now. And there's a decent chance that it's too hard to resolve your Quintorius against like Aragorn and Tassiger and 2099 and stuff. Mid-range version equals Stoneforge for Cloud plus 4 more. Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah. Ocelot Pride, Guide of Souls, Mother of Runes, Broadside Bombardiers, Fable the Mirror Breaker. Uh, all those like random creatures that people were suggesting that we didn't end up adding because I really wanted to be low on creatures. We ended up with like 8 creatures in that list, and most of the creatures like weren't actually creatures, which is pretty much exactly what I wanted. Did you consider Abstergo? Oh, we didn't put that in the other list. It's possible it can make the cut. We'll put it on the maybe list. Abstergo. It is a colorless land with kind of a high cost, right? You have to pay a lot of mana to get 2 Quintorius triggers, and it like kills your whole graveyard. But it's possible it's good enough. I see it in like a few of the other list as just like a decent value land. So it's possible it's good enough. Definitely a card to think about. The mana base building is like my least favorite part of deck building, so it was a lot of just like slapping everything on the wall and hopefully seeing what sticks. Wow, Moto is really struggling to copy this list. It's just too bad. It's too unplayable. Moto's just like, don't do it. But yeah, I found the idea of a Boros control deck really cool and novel, and the idea of just like Boros good stuff with a like basically building red white Ketramos of just like efficient creatures and stuff a lot less interesting. All right. All right. Good cards, good cards, good cards, good cards. Does Wandering Emperor make the cut? I feel like no, right? I feel like the draw to this card was a deck that was like holding up its mana all the time and just could like flash in a potent threat against control decks. I think Tez probably doesn't make the cut in a mid-range deck. Good cards, good cards. Forge probably dies here because we're actually have the ability to pressure control decks with like high quality cards. Squee makes the cut because he's based. I think Reprieve gets cut. Flashback gets cut. I think Untimely gets cut. The Mana Rocks get cut. Torpor gets cut. What about going big Boros? The Canlander does play mediocre 7 mana Ugin, etc. I don't love it. I don't think you need to go very big. I think it depends on like what your problems you're trying to solve. And I think you don't need to go as big because in Dual Commander versus Canlander, like you always have the mana outlet of casting your commander several times in a game. I think Disruptor Flute gets cut. I think these cards all make the list still. I think the Chance probably get cut. Does Mantide get cut in a good stuff version? These guys all stay. I think the redirects, maybe Redirect Lightning is efficient enough to stay. Does Gamble get cut? Silence gets cut almost assuredly. You think Gamble's good enough? Yeah, I Gamble for Flage is like pretty solid. I think it's just this. It's like not actually a ton of room for. I guess maybe these guys, huh? Redirect Lighting and Mana maybe not good enough. Start adding cards. Ocelot, Pride. I don't care for looting. What's the difference between this deck and the other deck in terms of looting being a viable card? Earnest question, not like a roast or anything. I guess a control deck, just by kind of its nature, will have like a little bit more situational pieces and more turns where it's not doing anything with its mana. You want to apply pressure? Yeah, because that kind of makes sense. Probably just play Mother of Ruins, and probably that's the only protection card you play, just because Mom's just like so good at what she does. You see Mother of Ruins in like Aragorn lists and stuff. Maybe you don't play Gaia Souls. I do hate Gaia Souls, but I'm just a big Gaia Souls hater. Stoneforge. Play Stoneforge, Cloud, Skull Clamp, Formal Wear, Lion Sash. Do any other equipment make the cut? Probably not like GTA. Do we have Fury? Yeah, Fury's in here. Don't worry. We covered it when we added all the good removal spells. There's probably a couple cards we're cutting. Maybe at the end of this we'll look at some other wait, no, good cloud art. We'll look at some other people's brewed Quintorius lists and see if we missed anything obvious. Mid-range. Skull Clamp, Formal War, Lion Sash. No, where's my good Skull Clamp? It's hidden underneath all these ugly ones. Final Fantasy Skull Clamp, fuck yeah. Pre-war formalware. Probably not GTA. When you're not a base cloud deck, you probably don't need GTA. Just Skull Clamp, Formalware, Lion Sash, probably good enough. Do we want Quarry Steel Cutter now that we have 2 ways to tutor for it and more proactive plays? Do we want Chainsaw to tutor for a removal spell? Chainsaw seems like not it, huh? A little bit clunkier. 3 equipment seems like not enough, though. Oh yeah, Voice of Victory and Hexing Squelcher are really good. Hexing Squelcher. Whenever I get chainsawed, I always feel it always feels like a pain in the ass. Chainsaw does have the it fucking rules factor as well, which can't be overlooked. I love casting Chainsaw. It does also just like eventually get really nasty, where you just like put it on one thing and it just punches you for like 11 damage. It's our instant and sorcery count. For what card are you asking? Broadside Bombardiers. Have we looked at flashback? This is for the mid-range version. We cut flashback. We built a control version that had flashback, but we cut flashback from this list in favor of more creature stuff. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Entirely possible that I'm just supposed to put Fable in the control version too. Card's really good and a lot of value, but probably want Pyroglyph. Pyroglyph has killed me so many fucking times. Like it has to be a good card, right? I don't think there's anyone on Earth who has been killed by more Pyroglyphs than me specifically. So I feel like it just got to be in this list. It's really expensive though, but it's whatever. I'm gonna put Quarry Steel Cutter in the deck right now. We'll kind of see at the end. We'll kind of take a look at the mana curve and see where we're at. Oh, Grimlogmancer. That seems good. Card we talked about very early on as being probably good enough in a creature version and not good enough in a creatureless version. Why do I own 3 Grimlogmancers? Question will never get answered. Ivora? No, I think that card sucked, but there was the other card that we're talking about that was good. Lelia. Lelia seems quality, and also just a spirit that interacts profitably with like exiling your stuff out of your own graveyard to get bigger, and also can get randomly double striked with Quintorius. Gao, maybe. How many cards do you want that are only good with your activators? Oh, Season Pyromancer is really good though. Season Pyromancers. Isn't there a second Season Pyromancer? Oh, and Skyclave. And there were a creature deck. Skyclave Apparition gets a little bit better. Skyclave app. Also a spirit. Double striking Skyclave combo. We're already at over the amount of cards. We like already start needing to cook cards. Yeesh. There's just like too many good efficient creatures, huh? Oh, Joshua Phoenix's Dominant. Is this card good enough? Just a 3/4 with the loot. It's also never a card advantage like Pyromancer is, except for when you fucking flip it or whatever. But fuck if I'm ever gonna read what that ability does. What about like a? We can go back to a Flagelist. Quality creatures, quality creatures. I guess we could play the Cathar Commando now. Just like a fairly efficient white creature. Ding. Oh, people talking about Party Thrasher. What the fuck does this do? Non-creature spells you cast from exile have Convoke. You can discard a card, and this card good. I don't know how good this card is. Oh, we play like Helping Hand and shit. What's the other one? Now that we actually have creatures in the deck, Helping Hand and the Modern Horizons Energy one. That is really good with our artifacts too. Jolted Awake, yeah. These cards seem much better now. And also, you know, synergize with Quintorius. There's like a sequence where you can like sack your Scrabbling Claws or your Phyrexian Furnace. So you activate it and you get a 3/2, and then you sack it and you get a 3/2, and then you jolt it awake the Scrabbling Claws and you get a 3/2, and then you activate the Scrabbling Claws again and you get a 3/2, which is a lot. I could see maybe Jolted Awake ending up in the creatureless version too, just because like getting back your activators, but maybe not. Oh, Dranath Magistrate. That card seems. Dranath Magistrate just seems like a generically good card to play in this deck, huh? Just in any white creature deck. Ding. I think these guys are getting cut. We already need to cut like more cards. I think honestly Gamble might not make it in this build. Also, maybe we don't need to be our Reb deck. With like a higher creature density version where you're actually able to pressure your opponent's like counter magic and stuff. I think Squeeze on the chopping block. Maybe March is on the chopping block just because it's like more expensive and we're playing a little bit more proactively. I really like how Shenanigans interacts with Quintorius though. It's like almost like these activators in that it makes a 3/2 on the turn you cast Quintorius with no extra mana, which is really nice. It obviously costs you like drawing a card with Quintorius. It's instead you make a 3/2 draw card, mill 2 or something. Ugh. But I think I like Quintorius. I would cut Squee before I cut Shenanigans. Are there any other like? Let me look at an Aragorn deck to see if we're missing any like quality creatures. We play like Bone Crusher, maybe. It's not that exciting. Felia is just like generically good, huh? We do have a decent number of like ETBs now too to combo with the Felia. Probably just good enough to run. Spectacular Spider-Man, is that one good enough to run? Maybe, maybe not. Prismatic Ending. Is Prismatic Ending good enough in 2-color decks? Am I supposed to be playing this in Control? Add it to the list. Prismatic Ending. Card to think about. I didn't see it in any of the 2-color lists that we were looking at earlier, but maybe. I cut 5 cards from this deck? We do have 5 cards sitting right over here, huh? 28 creatures. That's pretty solid creature base. I guess the Quarry Steel also is on the chopping block, huh? We don't have a ton of ways to actually like double spell very well. We do like most of our ones are just like these guys. So I guess it would be like hold your 1-drop so you can go turn 2 Stoneforge or Cloud into Quarry Steel and then turn 3 Quarry Steel plus like play one of these 1-drop activators or like play a 1-drop removal spell. I guess Purify the Grave and Alms are probably on the chopping block of like maybe we don't need these like really cute Quintorius activators in the world where we're trying to be more efficient. And just be like a solid creature deck. Put the Flage over here. I think the Hamlet guy, well, not actually Hamlet Vanguard. Vanguard of the Restless, I think the card is. I think that card makes a little bit more sense in the creature version. Just like playing more aggressively. Just let me look at a cloud list to make sure I'm not randomly missing any like really obvious cards. Esper Sentinel's got to be a pretty solid one. Really nice 1-drop. I don't really think you necessarily need the pro-red guys. If the 2099 matchup's like really bad, maybe we add, you can add like Forge Tender and stuff like that, but starting off, I think I'm fine not. We could play Recruiter of the Guard. But I think that's about it. I think we're... Oh, Tech Edge. Let's add Tech Edge. Maybe Tech Edge is good enough in the Crucible Worlds version. Nice flex land. I'll put a Abandoned Air Temple on the... That card ended up not making... I think Air Temple's probably not good enough. Crystal Vein might be good enough, though. We'll see how good it is to like be casting Quintorius on turn 3, especially at the cost of a land. A little bit loose. I guess Gemstone Caverns while we're there. If we're coming into like a lot of situations where it's like, damn, we could like, if we power out Quintorius on turn 3, versus like the non-blue decks, it's just like overwhelmingly good, then maybe we look at like the other accelerators like Crystal Vein or Gemstone Caverns. I know Peacekeeper not good enough. I don't think so. I think that card's like pretty low quality as far as like a 2-color deck goes. I think we need 6 cuts here. And I think this is about like where the creature version would want to be. We got up to 29 creatures, which seems pretty solid. While maintaining like this huge mass of your like really solid, your really good Quintorius activators. Cut 6 cards. I think the burst damage from Purify the Grave and Alms is less necessary in a deck that can pressure in other ways, versus the control deck having the access to these cards to like help turn the corner really fast in a pinch is maybe more important when you otherwise can't play well to the board. Similarly, I think I think Hoary Seal's not good, but we'll see. Like, if you need value, I think you just probably grab like Clamp or Formalware. As much as I like Hoary Seal in concept, let's try these gone, and then 3 more cards. The fact of the matter is that Squee is based, unfortunately or unfortunately, which means I'm probably not allowed to cut him from version 1.0. What if we just, like, left 1 blast and just cut these 3? What about the other Squee? The other Squee seems much worse than this Squee. You have to, like, spend 3 mana to get the value out of it. Just gonna do this. Call it a list. I think this is solid. This list is just so much more boring to me than I think the controls is so much cooler, but we'll definitely try both. Can I sort these by like mana curve here? Sort mana value. That's a really solid turn 1 curve, huh? I like that we don't have a lot of expensive cards at the top end. Like we have 2 real 4-drops, which I'm happy about. Deck's very nicely condensed on 1 and 2, and only like some really, really high quality 3s. I dig this. Oh, the other Squee Dubious Monarch. That card might just be too low power level for Duel Commander. It does get you a double Quintorius trigger when you quote unquote escape it from your graveyard. But though, yeah, that was a card we talked about when we were like searching for cards elsewhere. Control list looks more fun. I fear this creature base just has to be stronger. Yeah, there's a pretty good chance that you're right. I don't want to, as much as I don't want to believe it. We'll definitely try both lists, and it's good thought exercise to try both lists. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, and then we are going to. I'm gonna open up some other existing Quintorius lists, and we can like maybe pick out some cards that are maybe interesting to either add right now or to think about adding in the future. But I will be right back, and then we will do that, and then I guess we'll end the stream. This has been really fun. I hope other people enjoy this because I love these deck building streams. Ugh. I've returned. Let's hang out. Let's look at some of the lists. So, one of the big reasons I wanted to do this is A, because I'm really excited for Quintorius and I wanted to like see what ideas we could come up with. But also B, every other time I've been like kind of interested in trying a list that of a new commander, I would like go into like one of the Duel Commander discords. I would find someone that had already posted a list and just kind of like copy it and send it. And I've had very bad experiences with that of just like people not playing enough lands. Wait, what happened to all our lands? Why did we only have 36 lands? What? Huh? Did some of these get organized weirdly? 36, 37, 38. Aren't we 39 plus Tithe plus Oliphant? Where's our other land? Did, like, Urza's Saga get sorted weirdly? Did I cut a land on accident? Delete this. Quintorius control. 36. Am I insane? Did we build this with 30... with 38 lands instead of 39? Summoning Eruption, Witch Enchanter, Oliphant, Tithe. I thought I could have sworn I built this with 31 or 41. There's the Urza Saga. Fuck, did I only build this 40? Man, I don't really want to make another cut for that land right now. We'll just send it with 40 lands, and I'm sure it'll be definitely fine and not punishing at all. We'll find some bad cards to cut for the other land eventually. But we gotta try all the cool cards. Anyway, as I was just saying, no one plays enough lands in their deck, including me apparently. So my track record with like copy pasting random lists has been pretty bad. But that being said, people do have good ideas from time to time. So I think I want to go and see if anyone has any cool Quintorius lists. You should also have Simeon. You also have Simeon, should be fine. Simeon's Spirit Guide, basically a land, yeah. Pretty much a land, you know? More pins. Alright. What are the pinned? Where are the pins in Quintorius in the French Duel Commander server? Goblin Tinker, Goblin Welder? Yeah. Goblin Welder would be kind of cool. You could like maybe build this in a like a more artifact oriented way with like Welder and Engineer and stuff. All right, I see this guy. I see Mono Commander posted talking a lot in the French server. So I think his list. Can I organize these in ways that isn't this? Can I please see this with just like lands, instant sorceries? Groups, type. Thank you. I'm not a Moxfield user, but alright. He does have Eagles, notably, which we talked about, but there's potential you could have Eagles. This is a very creature light list as well, very close to ours. Summon Yojimbo, exile artifact creature or tap artifact enchantment or tapped creature. And then it like propagandas them twice, and then you make maybe one treasure token. 5/5. That doesn't seem that exciting. This Tezzeret does have the Cather Commander, notably. Interesting to think about. It seems like he's maybe respecting artifacts and enchantments a little bit more than maybe Yojimbo and Cather Commando. Something food for thought, certainly. Still has the Jolted Awake card that I talked about, like maybe just being straight good enough anyway. Deafening Clarion. This is basically just deal 3 damage to each creature, because giving your board lifelink is not very... I guess, like, you could just give your board lifelink, but in most lifelink matchups, you'd rather just be sweeping the board anyway. There's, like, a smattering of 3 damage Wraths we could play. We could end up playing more Wraths if we want them. We could end up playing, you know, like those Anger of the Gods, Brotherhood's End shaped cards. We ended up only on like Wrath of God plus Day of Judgment, but there's definitely room to like shift those cards around. He played in a road. I mean, probably a little bit of new card syndrome, but sure. There's flashback. There's no there's the redirect landing on timely malfunction. There's no chain lightning or flame slash or unholy heat. Seems like he really really like instant speed. Ugh, get lost. I hate get lost. I can respect that, honestly. I really like just holding everything up at instant speed. Makes some sense to me. Chain lightning was kind of low on my list of like cards because I don't really value its ability to go face very much. So I definitely see cutting. And also we talked about in Holy Heat potentially not being good enough if we can't regularly get Delirium online. Currency converter map, expedition map. Interesting. It's a card we had like talked about, I think. Oh fuck, we didn't play Portable Hole Seam Rip. Portable just seems great in. Oh fuck, we probably need to add that, huh? At least Portable Hole, because Portable Hole plus Tez, right? They also help answer like help answer flute or rest in peace and stuff. Tez can't get whole. Really? Does Tez only get colorless cards? Is it the same as Saga? Tezzeret. Search your library for an artifact card with value, mana value 1. No, he does. This gets portable, right? It's just Saga. You're thinking Urza's Saga doesn't get portable hole. Time me out. No, it's all good. That's why we played it vintage. Hey, Katie. Hey, do not jump up there. Hey, absolutely not. Get out of here. Notably, he is at 39 lands, which is where we ended up. But he's at 39 plus Eagles and Oliphant and Tithe. Jeez. Yeah, I really want to make room for more lands. There's the Chorus deal I talked about. Even without like the cloud stuff, he seems to really highly value it. But I think we're on that like the 3 draw. This is the creature version. We should be looking at the control version because those are the most closely related. We're on this Urbrask's Forge, which is maybe just like kind of really bad, but who knows? That's why we're trying, right? I imagine that like maybe they've played some like random pickup games or whatever, doing some testing, but I imagine it's like a little limited. She's got the On Wings of Gold, the tech. I'm telling you guys, this On Wings of Gold seems really good. No one in chat seems to like it, but it seems really powerful to me. Chain of the Rocks on the nice Paladin class. Suppose your bonus cast costs 1 more. Anthem, more Anthem. Eh. Seems okay, right? It's like okay against counterspell stuff, but like not great. I think it's worth putting on the maybe list. I think Portable Hole is like an immediate drop everything and actually fit the card into the deck at like 100%. Seam Rip is maybe not so much. What does his mana base look like? There's the Boros Garrison that was talked about. So they are on City of Traders. There's Corsia Monastery. Field of Ruin doesn't seem very exciting. Even with like Crucible. There's the Fomori Vault. I guess 19 artifacts. If you have like 2 in play, then it's just like 3 mana like loot sleight of hand. I don't know. This card does not seem like it to me. Glittering Massif. Eh. Hall of Helios Generosity. I forgot to like actually look at if we had enough art enchantments to make this card reasonable. My inclination is no, but I guess maybe that's why they're on the Seal of Fire too for like Hall stuff. Mistvale Plains Tech. Monumental Henge. Historic card, which is Artifact, Legendary, or Saga. What's the math on this? What's the math on this hitting? Top 5? Sort by... Can I not sort by type? Can I not sort by card type? Hello? Moto? Alright, let's just assume that our lists are exactly identical. Which is 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 24. I think this Restoration of Conjure seems pretty terrible, but 24? So let's assume that we probably have like 20 to 24-ish. Hyper geometric calculator. Population size 99. Successes in population. Let's try 20. Sample size is 5 cards. We want 1 success in the sample. Calculate. 88% hit rate, and if we have up to like 24 cards that trigger it, it goes up to a 94% hit rate. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. It can like hit Wandering Emperor and Urbrask's Forge in our list. I'm gonna have to think about that one more. Monumental Henge. I'm so used to that card being complete dog shit. But maybe this is finally the deck for it. I actually got almost the same mana base configuration. Sundown Pass? Oh, this card seems good. That card should just be in the deck, yeah. Sundown Pass. Talon Gates and Urza's Cave? Talon Gates does not seem that exciting to me, huh? We're not like... Talon Gates doesn't do a ton in a control deck, right? Unless you are paying 4 mana to put it into play. Urza's Cave for Urza's Saga for the Crucible plus Saga Plan versus Control is like maybe something. It's like, feels a little bit niche to me, though. Out of time. What the hell is this? Out of time enters the battlefield, untap all creatures, then phase them out until out of time leaves the battlefield. Put a time counter on out of time for each creature phased out this way. Vanishing. This is like really scary, because if your opponent blows it up, then they just get all of their creatures back immediately, and they effectively have haste, right? Because they... Phased in creatures can attack, right? On the turn that they phase in? I don't know if fucking phasing works. MTG phasing. Can phased in cards attack the turn they enter play? Yeah. No, I don't give a fuck. Fucking fandom wiki. I hate you. It can attack and use activated abilities with tap or untap. The turn it phases back in. That seems terrifying to me. Maybe it's good enough. It is like a nice like 3-drop, like, but there's like a decent chunk of 3-drop sweepers you could play with like various shapes and sizes. It is also nice that like phasing removes commanders forever. Like you can't put your commander back in the command zone if it gets phased out, right? So it is actually just like gone until you get rid of the out of time. Kind of cool. This is like a kind of fucked up lock with Hall of Helios Generosity if they can't blow it up, right? You just keep phasing out the board every time it loses all its vanishing counters. So yeah, I think the big ones is I want more lands, and I want this portable hole for sure. This is like the big one that I want to add into the list. I want like to find room for portable hole. Sundown Passes just gets added as another land, and I think that's maybe good enough if we're at like 39 plus 2. So I think I want to find room for portable hole and Sundown Pass in the control list. And then also like probably Sundown Pass in the creature list. Because I think we were 1 land light on both of these lists. Who else got a list? Aggie, are you still around? You got a list that you feel like you would want to share? Interesting to see, like, a creature light list that just has Esper Sentinel and TRC in it. Kind of odd. Let's rip apart. There's the Gamble. Flashback. Seems like people really want the control list, which makes sense to me. Yeah. It's Arcane Signet, Talisman of Conviction. No Fellwar Stone? It's possible Fellwar Stone isn't good enough and you can just play like these two. Oh, there's Staff of the Storyteller. We didn't add that to the creature list. Mid-range list. Staff. Curse of Silence. This is 38 plus Eagles plus Oliphant plus Tithe. Which is one more than ours as well, right? Ours is 38. Both of them have both Eagles and Oliphant. One's got more basics. They both have the City Traders, some good instincts, I guess. Tier seems fairly reasonable to keep the Graveyard Flush. I don't think you care that much about keeping the Graveyard Flush outside of like the escape cards. Like Quintorius mills every time it pluses, right? So it kind of enables itself in that way. I don't think you need like a ton of cards in your graveyard at all times. And like the nature of these creature light lists is that if you just like play your DRC, I feel like it's just gonna, die to their removal spells that they can't target anything else with, and then it's not a very exciting card to have in your deck. But again, this is like mostly theoretical. Maybe if we're running into like, oh, we actually don't have cards in our graveyard decks to continue to exile to Quintorius, then maybe we do need some sort of card to keep the graveyard flowing. Yeah, I mean it's 1 mana, but it's just like not a very quality card at 1 mana, I feel like. Ooh, Oni has a list. Oni's like a really seasoned dual commander player and brewer. What's going on here? Creature light list, but does have the Squelcher, does not have the Voice of Victory. Everyone's got Eagles and Oliphant. Maybe we're the wrong ones, chat. There's Split Up. Split Up's another one that I could see. The Shenanigans tech, fuck yeah. The Squee tech, fuck yeah. Oni knows where it's at. Creature light with Grim Lavamancer, sure. How do we like deification in the control list? Oh, he's got everyone right here. Choose Planeswalker type. Planeswalkers you control the chosen type of hexproof as long as you control a creature. If damage dealt to a Planeswalker you control the chosen type would result in all loyalty counters on it being removed, instead remove all but one. Huh. It's interesting. I think I'm gonna put it on the maybe list. Deification. My thought is that I think ideally your deck works out in a way that you don't need... Lily, get back here. Lay down. Lay down. That you don't need to protect the Quintorius that way, because hopefully you have like you've removal spelled the early board, and yeah, six loyalty counter fat ass. Exactly. That plus like if you have your 0 mana enablers plus like removal spells in the first 3 turns, like maybe you don't need it. It's interesting though. Also, there's like a world that it having hexproof is nice against like the however many removal spells there are for Quintorius in the format, which I can't imagine there are too many. Oni's on 41 plus Oliphant plus Eagles plus Tithe. Jesus Christ. I'm the bad one here. I'm playing too little lands. I need to play like at least one, maybe 2 more. There's the Urza Save, Urza Saga Talon Gates. Am I missing something about Talon Gates? I've never really found that Talon Gates is a really nice reactive card in a deck that can't just like, crop rotation into play or something. It's usually nice when you Talon Gates away a creature and then like attack through it in Cloud, right? Occasionally you play like you pay 4 mana for it, but it's not that exciting. Radiant Summit, what is this? Enters tab unless you control 2 more basics. I don't think you need that. It is another typed land though, if you really want like more Chain to the Rocks value. Oh, we didn't add artifact land. Artifact land. I think you want one. I don't know what type. I don't think it's the tapped indestructible land. It's probably Great Furnace or the white one. But I'd have to like, because you want double white, but also like it was mentioned earlier, if you have the white to cast your Enlightened Tutor, then maybe you need the red mana more often. But I think more often than Enlightened Tutoring for it, that you're going to be Tezzeretting for it. He's also got the Torque plus Shenanigans combo. Fuck yeah. There's Arcane Signet, there is Talisman, and then there is Boros Signet over Felwar Stone. Maybe the Felwar Stone's bait. Maybe we'll cut the Felwar Stone. I'm not sold on Boros Signet either. But maybe we'll cut Felwar Stone for a land and just see how Arcane Signet and Talisman play and see how if we really, really want another one and see how often we're like playing it and tapping it on turn 2 specifically to see if Boros Signet's like up to snuff. Or maybe if we want a card like Liquid Metal Torque. Also, like, none of these decks playing Bag of Holding? Isn't it just, like, a second currency converter? It's obviously worse than currency converter, but you can't play 2, and, like, I feel like you just kind of want a card like this in play. It's not very good if you have them, if you draw them both, I guess. But maybe it ends up just being bad. I don't know, but it just seems really nice to have one of them in play when you play your Quintorius, and then plus it. Oni also has the Glittering Massive. But, like, no one else is playing Cycling Lands. Why are we just putting these in the deck? I don't know. I feel like no one else was running these. Just, like, random fucking Cycle Lands. Maybe it might just be New Card Syndrome. There is Maze of Ith. Maze of Ith makes a little bit more sense with, like, the Urza's Cave package, right? Which they both seem to be playing. It seems like people have zeroed in on this Crucible of Worlds Urza Saga plan being pretty strong. Enlightened Tutor Crucible Worlds, Urza Saga, and maybe just like Urza's Cave for more Urza Saga consistency. There's no exhibition map in this list though, which kind of makes sense, I think. Oh no, he's not even. Oni's not even playing the Tezzeret. Just flat out playing Ugin Eye of the Storms, huh? Maybe. I don't love Hall of Helios Generosity in your deck with like 9 enchantments. Urza's Cave and Talon Gates for the double strike spirit kill secret. Wait, what? You Urza's Cave into the Talon Gates, and then just to like phase the thing out, and then you double strike your spirits for lethal through the one blocker. Is that what we're talking about? Like the Talon Gates does get a little bit better with Urza's Cave because when you have more access to it at instant speed, like I said, Talon Gates is better in a deck with like crop rotation, right? And Urza's Cave is like, bargain bin crop rotation. And then you deal 6 damages and kill your opponent exactly. True. I can't argue with that logic. There's the Abstergo as well. I feel like I'm just going to slowly start cutting bad cards for more lands, is what I'm getting from like looking at a lot of these lists. Any other? Does anyone have like a creature list? Everyone seems to be brewing this control list. I get it. I think the control list is way more cool. Everyone seems to be really keen on trying this list of like very minimal creatures. This person says Quintorius mid-range, so let's try this. 29 creatures. All right, cooking, cooking. Everyone's got Eagles plus Oliphant. Maybe we're the wrong ones. There's Gao that we didn't end up playing. Dragon's Rage Channeler is maybe just good enough. Pinnacle Monk. Does technically trigger Quintorius, huh? There's Squee, another card we talked about. Joshua, we talked about. Scrapwork Mutt, we kind of talked about. There's like Party Thresher, Inti, much like random like looting cards. Lava Dart, Fiery Temper. If you discard this card, discard it into exile. So Madness cards don't trigger Quintorius. It's just like Bolt if you have Quintorius online. Not that exciting. Baubles, Lantern of the Lost doesn't seem that great. Soul Guide doesn't seem that great. Yeah, I gotta make room for like 3 cards. Oh, this is like the maybe board, sideboard here. Chain Lightning, Gamble. Random escape cards, sure. Bannon the Returner's Leader. Doesn't seem that exciting. Shadow of the Goblin. Just a looter. Staff. More discard stuff. Guess we could play a third Stoneforge Mystic. Oh, this card seems a fair bit worse, though. Geddon's Pyrogoyf. 5 mana card. 5 mana card. Magmatic Sinkhole, sure. Alright, I feel like we actually did a pretty good job looking at all these other lists. I think we got pretty close to what other people are doing. I don't think we missed any like huge power outlier cards. I think we did a pretty nice job. Any other lists? Oh, there is an Aggie list. How long ago was this updated though? This was like posted when Quintorius actually happened. Is there like a last updated date on this? Seems like Aggie has probably gone to bed. Last updated 6 days ago. All right, let's look. Let's judge him. 40 lands, Eagles, Oliphant. Wasn't he the one that said that Eagles was way worse? Why is everyone on his card? I feel like he very specifically was the one that was like, Eagles is pretty bad when you cast it. Am I going crazy? Am I being gaslit? Everyone just decided that Eagles is playable, but then tried to convince me that it's very bad. Seer? It's kind of like an Aragorn card. I feel like Aragorn plus 2099 card. Missing Tassiger is pretty rough, though. Nothing spectacular in the mana base. I don't want Team Number 2. Samwise kind of cool. Potentially. Triggers your Quintorius. A little slowly, but does trigger Quintorius. Vanguard of the Restless. Alright, what I'm getting is that everyone's playing Eagles, that I should make room for Eagles and another land, or just 2 more lands. I don't really want to play the Eagles yet. I don't know if you actually need that much graveyard stuff. Maybe if we do need to fuel the graveyards more, we'll play Eagles or whatever, but I'm kind of happy with just like one of the cyclers and plus tithe, and we add 2 lands and portable hole, and call it a day, huh? Who's getting cut? I think we talked about cutting the Fell Warstone, which I'm pretty fine with. Fell Warstone. Then we have like these like little cute bits and baubles. Portable hole. Maybe we'll just play like 1 land. We gotta like try some of these cards. Maybe we'll add in 1 more land and the portable hole. I think the portable hole and the artifact land are kind of like non-negotiable with regards to how Tezzeret works. And then we'll see later on as we cut down some of the more like clunky cards. We'll maybe add in like the Seam Rip and add in another land, and maybe like we'll try out some of these other cards, stuff like that. But I think we just want portable hole, artifact land, cut Great Furnace, cut. Every fiber of my being is trying to cut this reprieve, but I know that it's like really important for the control matchups. I just like I've never played a good reprieve deck. I didn't even like the card Felia very much, but God, what gets the cut? 12 creatures, huh? It's probably the squee, but it can't be the squee. I feel like it's not the Bag of Holding, but no one else is playing Bag of Holding. Am I crazy? Maybe this deck is consistent enough that you don't need this effect, that we have enough other activators that we don't need bad Bag of Holding. I don't know if Reprieve is that good here either. Yeah, the idea is that like you want more cards that are good against control decks, right? You reprieve, like you can reprieve your own spell in response to their counter spell for a bunch of card advantage, or just like have instant speed interaction of some kind. Is the idea. Maybe the Bag of Holdings cope. Maybe we'll cut the no. Like literally none of the other lists we're looking at were playing Bag of Holding, and I think maybe it is something of like we have to play some matches with the deck and figure out if we have a good balance of activators, and maybe we don't need to be playing like Alms and Purify the Grave and Bag of Holding, all cards that other people weren't playing. But we can kind of zero in on like a nice number of activators versus good cards. So maybe we'll cut the Bag of Holding and we'll put Bag of Holding on the maybe list instead of the portable hole in the artifact land. And we will start here with Vanguard of the Restless, whatever spirit guy, and a flashback. And who knows? Maybe there's another weird card that gets spoiled. I think full spoilers are like done next week, something like that. Maybe there's another random card that gets added, but I think I'm going to start here. 99 cards, and then over here we'll play a Sundown Pass instead of something. Probably need to add a Sundown Pass over like a base, a non, over like a basic land in the other list, but it's kind of whatever. Why do I own a Sundown Pass? What happened? Does the creature list really want Tithe? I guess cutting a land for a Tithe is a little confusing. Or cutting a Tithe for a land is a little weird. Maybe we don't want like Unholy Heat in the creature version. Creature version is probably slightly easier getting to Delirium because your creatures are dying. I don't know. We can cut the Bag of Holding again, I guess. Problem solved. All right, we got 2 cool lists. I'm pretty happy with where we're at. Got to see some cool ideas. I'm excited for 2 weeks from now when we get to stream with Quintorius History Chaser. Next week, we'll twiddle our thumbs, play some more Cloud or whatever. Be in the Quintorius waiting room for 1 more week. But I'm really excited to try these lists out. see how they feel. If we can kind of hybridize them, maybe we play like creature lists, but then we do end up mashing in like Voice of Victory and Squelcher versus the control decks, or maybe we solve. Who could say? I think any more like thought process for these lists is like kind of diminishing returns. Because it's kind of hard to keep theory crafting about a deck in matchups that haven't been tested at all, basically. So I think the best bet is to just kind of lock in, be happy with where we're at, and get excited to do some testing in a few weeks. So let's go find someone to raid. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream tonight. I really enjoy, like I say this a lot, but I always have fun with these streams. These streams that aren't just like mindlessly playing more matches of Magic against like just jamming random leagues endlessly. I know a lot of people just kind of enjoy more, baseline play Magic content, but I like these theory crafting streams every once in a while. They help kind of sort out my own ideas and get some good ideas from chat, stuff like that. I'll cut a mountain for a sundown pass. But anyway, let's find someone to raid, huh? What the hell? No one is streaming online tonight, huh? Where is everybody? I'll just shoot you over to this Pauper streamer. Someone's carrying the MTGO torch tonight. Anyway, hope everyone had a good time. We'll be back next week with a little bit more Cloud before hopefully we get into some cool Quintorius action. Excited to try the new stuff. That's about it for me. I'll ship you all off to another channel, and I'll be back next week. Hope you have a good one.